wake up, it's Chris in the morning light. On KAHI, your day starts right. Foothill news and a smile or two, with a dad joke fresh and the weather too. He's the voice of the hills, keeping it real. Local talk with hometown feel. So grab your coffee, don't hit snooze. It's Chris in the morning with your daily news.
Here we go, big finish, and good Monday morning to you. It is April 6th, and it is right smack dab at the top of the hour. It is 6 a.m. here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI. You know what it is. It is the voice of the foothills, Chris Quant, with you here, holding it down in beautiful, gorgeous, fantastic, and very, very spacious Studio A, KAHI Studios, downtown Auburn, peering through the Venetian blinds. It's dark outside. I don't know. It's going to be another spring day. I don't know, mid-70s. We'll check in with meteorologist Tim Root here in just a little bit as we get our bearings all about us and all around us and all the things. My gosh, apparently a little bit of a power outage yesterday, or at least there was, I guess, here in the studio, a little bit of a power outage. I come back and the computers are like, no. I don't want to. You got to reset us. You got to reset all the things. You got to do all the stuff. Apparently, when computers don't like the power being cut, so spend a little bit of time here just trying to. You know what? That's just a Monday, right? That's just a Monday. You come in and everything's like, no, I don't want to work today. And trust me, listen, computers, I get the feeling. I understand. I'm right there with you. It was a little hard to get out of bed this morning, but here we are nonetheless, and we're going to be doing the thing. So bear with us and bear with me as we get everything kind of back up and running here and check everything out. I don't know. There might be some surprises along the way when I go to play something and maybe it's not going to play. We'll check and see if we've got meteorologist Tim Root here in just a little bit to make sure that I reloaded that correctly. But as we're getting started on this 6th day of April, officially Easter Monday. How'd everybody do? We had a good weekend, holiday weekend there, Easter weekend, hanging out with the family. Did you hang out with friends? Did you do anything special? If you were like my wife and I, and we sent our youngest off to do the Easter egg hunt with the family, and I was tired yesterday, so I said, you know what? I'm not going to do the family thing. I was going to be a little bit of a recluse yesterday, and just hang out and hang out in the afternoon with my wife, and sat down, and I just kind of took it easy yesterday. So kind of an atypical Easter, not normally what we would do. We'd usually be out doing something. Of course, I did church in the morning. I did all that. Did the service there, and then not of course, Adam, not that everybody does that, but that I did that yesterday and enjoyed it. Great group of people, and then moved on. And I said, you know what, I'm going to take a nap in the afternoon, and I enjoyed the nap. So I don't know, maybe I'm just getting older where I prioritize sleep over pretty much everything else. So hope you had a great weekend. I had a great weekend. Had Friday off from the full-time job there, so spent a little time with my youngest, and we went out and saw the Mario movie, and it just reminded me of. Sometimes you just go out for the fun of it. Just go out to hang out, and he and I had a great time hanging out and going out there and just connecting and bonding. And for me, it was, your time with your kids, right? Like, yeah, the movie's the kind of the side thing, but just having the conversation down. And he and I just chatting about all different kinds of stuff, and we both love Formula One, so we're talking Formula One, and we're talking about what the season's going to be looking like, and all the father-son stuff that you get to talk about. So just love having a little bit of extra time with them, and then decided to just do a little fire in the fire pit later on Saturday, and just I think this weekend was just about slowing down just a little bit. Yes, there was a lot of things on the list of things to do. Yes, there's a lot of repairs that need to happen around the house. But I decided, you know what? We're just going to take a little bit of time this weekend. I'm just going to slow down for a little bit and take some time for the family. I had some travel last weekend. I've got some travel coming up this next weekend. So it's kind of a busy travel month for me this month, so I decided this weekend, we're just going to take it a little bit slower. We're going to take it a little bit more low key, as the kids would say, and chill out. So I hope you had a great weekend. I hope you had a chance to maybe catch up with some friends and some family over the weekend of the holiday weekend, or if not, maybe just had some time for yourself to reflect and just focus on you, and that is okay. And as we're getting started on this day, well, we're right back into the week again. So happy Monday to you. On this day in history, let's start there. On this day in 1896, the first modern Olympics happened. They happened in Athens, Greece. It featured 241 male athletes from 14 nations. And of course, that is a far cry now from the massive global spectacle that we see today. Yeah, just wrapping up the Winter Games here. Like a little more than a month ago? It seems like it was just happening the other day. In 1909, American explorers Robert Peary and Matthew Henson claimed to be the first humans to reach the North Pole. There's still some historical debate over the exact navigation, but it remains a massive milestone in exploration. Speaking of exploration, a little bit later on this morning, we'll be talking about the Artemis II crew there. Got some quotes from them from space. Some very over this Easter weekend. I thought it was a very deep quote by what is it? Victor? What's his last name? He's the pilot on Artemis II, and just a great reminder of some perspective for them looking back at us. And as I'm driving in this morning, seeing that moon right smack dab through my windshield there, and seeing that they're hurtling towards it right now. Actually, today is the day that they're going to be circling around the moon. They'll have their closest views of the moon today. So we'll talk about their schedule, what happened over the weekend, and what their schedule is for today as we're tracking them all the way around the moon and back again. Going back to this day in history, on this day in 1930, the world's first Twinkie, James Dewar, a bakery manager in Illinois, invented the Twinkie. They were originally filled with banana cream, but a banana shortage during World War II forced a switch to vanilla. Oh, I don't know if I would have liked the banana cream. That just sounds. I'm a pretty big fan of the vanilla, but maybe folks were a little bit bummed when that happened. But hey, it is what it is. C'est la vie. And on this day in 1947, the first Tony Awards, the very first Antoinette Perry Awards for Excellence in Theater, or the Tonys, were held at the Waldorf Astoria in New York City there in 1947. So there's some fun facts about what happened on this day in history. But let's get to it. If today is your birthday, then may I hopefully be one of the first to say, well, a happy stinking birthday to you. Hope you have a fantastic birthday today. If you have a birthday today, you share it with Raphael. No, not the Ninja Turtle. No, the Italian painter and architect, 1483. Going back quite a ways there. Merle Haggard, coming up a little bit more in modern times here. Merle Haggard, American singer-songwriter, 1937. Barry Levinson, American director, producer, and screenwriter, 1942. I was going to try and do an impression, but I won't. John Ratzenberger, American actor and voice actor. Yeah, Cliff from Cheers there, and of course, I think it's contractually obligated. He needs to voice at least one character in every Pixar movie. But yeah, you would have known him from Cheers there. John Ratzenberger, 1947. Let's see. We've got Michelle Bachmann, American lawyer and politician, 1956. Paul Rudd, American actor, 1969. Zach Braff, American actor, 1975. Oh boy, is that him? I've been watching the Scrubs reboot. Oh my gosh, leaning hard into the nostalgia, and I am right there with it. That is a fantastic show. Let's see. Hillary Rhonda, American model, 1987, and Heidi Mount, American model, 1987 as well. So happy birthday to them, and happy birthday to you again if today is your birthday. Hope you have a fantastic day today on this Sorry Charlie Day. Sorry Charlie Day. What in the world is that? It honors the resilience of Star Kiss mascot Charlie the Tuna, who was famously rejected for having good taste instead of tasting good. Oh, okay. So that's the tuna mascot there. All right. It is also National Carbonara Day. Being Italian, you think I would know how to pronounce that. Basically, the authentic way involves peconario. Boy, I'm a horrible Italian here, not being able to pronounce these. Anyway, basically, no cream allowed in your carbonara. It's also National Student Athlete Day, celebrating high school and college kids who balance the books with the box scores. Yeah, we'll have some NCAA updates here. Turns out the UCLA ladies, the Bruins, going big time. Also, National Tartan Day recognizes the contributions of Scottish Americans to America here. And then also, again, Sorry Charlie Day, named after the famous Star-Kissed mascot. Handling rejection with a bit of grace is what today is all about. So there we go. We got a lot going on today. We also need to check on what's going on with our weather today. For that, we're going to check in with meteorologist Tim Root. Timmy, how are we looking out there today?
Monday weather forecast is calling for mostly sunny skies at mid-70s today. Southwest wind about 10 miles per hour. 45 to 50 overnight. Light winds, mostly clear skies in the forecast. Dry weather on Tuesday, mostly sunny in the low 70s. Those temperatures will stay in the low 70s Wednesday. It'll be partly sunny, maybe a few rain showers in the afternoon. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
Thank you, Tim. 10 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:10 a.m. Coming up in our next segment here, American Plastics. If you're making plastics in America, it seems to be a bit of a boon for you, considering everything else that's going on in the world. We'll talk about that. We'll also have your Fox Business Report, more events for the calendar. Stay tuned. Lots more coming up. Back with more after this.
This program is supported in part by the Hearts of Space Archive Service. If you just can't get enough Hearts of Space, Sunday evenings at 8 here on KAHI, visit the Hearts of Space Archive Service anytime on the web at HOS.com. Hearts of Space, slow music for fast times.
Lonely winter, lonely times.
Be sure to listen to The Garden Goddesses, Saturday mornings at 8, right here on the Voice of the Foothills.
And this is Cindy from the Garden Goddesses. Thanks for being a loyal listener, and please join us every Saturday morning from 8 to 9 on KAHI, the Voice of the Foothills, and we will teach you all we know about gardening.
I've learned so much myself, and I've only been here a few months. You can learn so much on their show. It is the ultimate gardening show.
Absolutely. So join us every Saturday morning from 8 to 9.
Right here on the Voice of the Foothills.
And good Monday morning to you, April 6th. And hey, good morning to you, Colfax. Currently 52 degrees right now, looking for a high today. Very nice 75 degrees out there. All right, before we get to the Fox Business Report, looking at the morning brew this morning, saw some interesting things, especially when it comes to local production here. And by local, I mean in the U.S. here. If you're producing plastics, well, it's a good time for you. Basically, companies that sell anything that requires plastics, if you're selling plastic, it's among the worst. But if you're making the plastic, it's a good time. Asian, Middle Eastern, and European producers of petrochemicals have been negatively affected by the Iran war, which has all but closed the Strait of Hormuz, as we well know. American chemical companies are benefiting from their new relevance and income since they use cheap natural gas that isn't dependent on the strait. So polyethylene, it's a soft, flexible material used in sandwich bags, detergent bottles, food service gloves, and more. Dow Chemical CEO Jim Fitterling said that the company's U.S. production capacity there, quote, everything that we've got running is going to be flat out for the rest of the year, unquote. Dow also raised the price of polyethylene by 30 cents per pound this month. Polypropylene, a harder, denser substance used in auto parts, takeout containers, bottle caps, and medical supplies. That is up on the rise here, too. Augustine Izquierdo, CFO of the multinational LyondellBasell, which has headquarters in Houston, Texas, told investors recently, quote, the material from the Middle East is trapped in the region, so this gives an opportunity for North America to actually start exporting polypropylene, unquote, as the Wall Street Journal noted. Its stock is up 84% so far this year after 2 years of decline. But the rest of the U.S. economy doesn't find these developments so fetch. The cost of doing business for companies that make plastic consumer goods that rely on plastic packaging is rising. Jay Foreman, the CEO of toy maker Basic Fun, told the Wall Street Journal that, quote, in the short run, we'll take the hit, but no doubt at some point it will also affect consumers, unquote. And if we zoom out here just a little bit, even if the Strait of Hormuz opened up immediately, analysts said it could take up to 9 months for shipping and production of petrochemicals to return to baseline. And even then, quote, critical industries like fertilizer production, unquote, will likely get resupplied first, according to the Wall Street Journal. So there we go. Making plastics in the U.S. Going up a little bit, but still kind of hurting everywhere else. All right, speaking of business and all of those other things, time for us to turn it over now, as we do, to the Fox Business Report. Well, maybe not. Apparently, we click the thing here. Maybe, again, if the power goes out, all sorts of things happen and go all kind of wonky. So, again, maybe we're figuring out some surprises for today as everything gets back online here. We'll try and figure out what's going on. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more events for the calendar right after this.
Advertise with KAHI Radio, the voice of the foothills, and you'll reach those who matter most. Your local customers for your local business. Here's Fred Penny of Penny & Associates to tell you why he uses KAHI Radio.
This is Fred Penny of Penny & Associate Injury Lawyers, and I choose to advertise on AM 950 KAHI Radio because it works.
So call our KAHI sales team at 530-885-5636. That's 530-885-5636 to start your local advertising today.
Every child is on a journey, a path from the earliest days of wonder and discovery through all the years of learning and growing to become the person they were meant to be. At Children International, we're empowering children and youth to forge a path out of poverty. Walking alongside on their journey, we equip them with education, skills, and resources to succeed in every milestone of growth. From early childhood to starting school, through healthcare access and learning to read, to life skills, job skills, and leadership training, and into employment. This is how we build confidence and instill a positive mindset so they can achieve bright futures for themselves, their families, and communities. Learn how you can join the journey and help end poverty for good at children.org today.
16 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:16 a.m. Let's talk about another event for the calendar here. We're talking about one that's coming up this Thursday, April 9th. Cinema at the State presents Deep Blue. That's going to be at 7 p.m. in the evening. Doors open at 6 p.m. Runtime's going to be about an hour and 31 minutes. It's going to be at the Oddfellows Lodge, 1226 and a half Lincoln Way here in Auburn. What is this Deep Blue? What the heck are we talking about? Well, in this cinematic roller coaster ride, the whole family can join in an epic voyage through aquatic realms where humans have rarely dared to go, waddle with playful penguins, dart lightning speed through schools of sharks, and ride over stormy waves with massive whales and a rare view of alien-like creatures. Yeah, we're exploring space right now, but our oceans, still a lot of space to explore down there. Deep Blue uses amazing footage to tell the story of our mysterious oceans and the life they support. Gray whales make their migratory journey despite being menaced by killer whales, while smaller fish struggle to stay alive. In the Arctic, penguins and polar bears endure the winter, while on the beaches, crabs emerge to feed. Sounds like it's going to be quite the experience here. Again, it's going to be on Thursday, April 9th, this Thursday at 7 p.m. Doors open at 6 p.m. there at the Oddfellows Lodge, 1226 and a half Lincoln Way in Auburn. You can get your tickets online at auburnstatetheater.org, or you can call the box office 530-885-0156. For that is Deep Blue. Cinema at the State presents Deep Blue this Thursday, April 9th, 7 p.m. $12 for adults, $10 for seniors and kids 11 and under there. So be sure and check it out. All right, it is now 18 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:18 a.m. Coming up in our next segment at the bottom of the hour, Sports Ball. We'll see how the Giants and the Kings are doing here when they're playing next. Also, local sports as well. Stay tuned. Coming up a little bit later on, we've got some weird news for you. Some weird news happening over the last couple of weeks. Like we said, we'll keep an update on what's going on with Artemis 2 there as they're flying towards the moon. They're going to be circling around. And in the 8 o'clock hour, I was almost said meteorologist. No, it's a supervisor. District Supervisor Cindy Gustafson is going to call in, give us a bit of an update. We haven't heard some updates here since we don't have meddlers meetings as often. She'll give us an update. If you have any questions for Cindy, go ahead and let me know, 530-885-3565, or you can email live@kahi.com. Off now to JT in the morning. I'll see you back here at the bottom of the hour.
Thank you for letting us do what we do this morning. And I had this long conversation with my kids reading about this Beatles album that's coming out, actually the Sons of Beatles. And I guess the hard bit was convincing George Harrison's son to cash in, along with Zach Starkey, who had just been fired by The Who. And I considerably older than the other ones, Lennon. And, it's interesting to me because John Lennon has multiple, sons, and the one with actual hit records to his own credit isn't involved in this one. But I said to him, y'all got to be ready because at some point it's going to be Sons of JT. And they're like, no, Dad, it's going to be your daughter. She's going to have to take over. She's the only one who thinks like you do. I mean, there are people who, my kids agree with me politically, but they don't process the same way. At your service this morning, quick mind, we reported on the Super Mario movie. Oh, it's big deals. It's big doing. It's American zeitgeist. You realize that's 2% of the American population, right? 2% went to go see the Mario movie. I know it sounds like $130 million, Joe. Yes, 2% of the, given what we're charging at the Microplex or wherever we are now, everything's like $15, $16, $20 movie ticket. So you do the math. Making $130 million ain't what it used to be. Text message coming in. On my point about half an hour ago, we were talking about the coverage of Pete Hegseth, and Pete Hegseth is he's wrong, he's out of control, he's in over his head. This is why he's firing everyone. It's like a Shakespearean epic, etc., etc.
Overwhelming relief. Our Easter service at my church was last night, and I know that was a prayer on virtually everybody's minds during the service.
And of course, that's of the rescue. But this rescue of the American soldier, of course, puts there was an American soldier in peril. Yeah, there was an American soldier in peril. We are in a kinetic military operation. Our soldiers are in peril. Did you not think that was going to be the case? Or did you think this was going to be some movie with Lou Gossett Jr. in it, where we just storm in, playing Queen over our cassette players and blow up all the bad guys' airplanes and fly back home? High fives and chest bumps all around. Is that what you thought? Who told you that? I know the president is saying, hey, we're winning. We're going to be doing these things. And there's a certain narrative that I think even conservative friends of mine are disquieted by, because the president's living in the world where everything is a sales pitch. Everything is a marketing campaign. And so he's trying to keep the marketing up for those who face midterm elections. May not be the right way to do it, and it's probably not the way it's being done in the White House Situation Room. That being said, however, it gives rise to the nattering nabobs of negativism. And I was bringing up the on-the-fly news coverage, and I drew a comparison to what TV shows like Meet the Press might sound like in the middle of America's battle to oust its occupying British troops. And the text begins from Maureen. Joe, I disagree with your coverage. First off, I dislike it when conservatives refer to the British as occupying forces. This was their colony. We run the same risk of sounding like the same apologists who say that we've stolen the land from the indigenous persons. This was a British colony. They paid to build it, and it was their property, and they were guarding it. we were trying to steal it from them. So to act like we were on some sanctified mission is rewriting history, and I thought you were better than that. Maureen, I love emails and phone calls that say, I thought you were better than that. My first thought, whenever anyone ever says, I thought you were better than that, my first question is usually, why? Why did you think I was better than that? And you can debate the point. I mean, that is a controversial, even here we are 250 years later, and it's still being argued. But understand that in the United States, or the British colonies in North America, whatever angle you want to watch it on, the population was about 1/3 in favor of ousting the British, 1/3 in favor of not changing anything because chaos, pun intended, and 1/3 who were too busy to be bothered. And not because they didn't care one way or the other, but they were honest to goodness, too busy making ends meet, doing whatever their jobs were, to be that deeply involved into it. It was the whole point of Patrick Henry's "Give me liberty or give me death" speech. That anniversary is coming up too, isn't it? So the argument was, why should we care? 2/3 of the American population doesn't want this to happen. Why would we put our soldiers in harm's way for something that's so grossly unpopular as this? Tim Kaine again from Sunday on Meet the Press.
Bombing them back to the Stone Age, cursing them. Secretary Hegseth saying, it's death from above, no mercy, no quarter. We will ignore stupid rules of engagement. This is all embarrassing and juvenile. And it's people trying to act like they're puffed up and tough.
You can almost hear representatives of Virginia in 1775 saying the same thing. And I brought up, Maureen's referring to a comparison I made after the Battle of Brandywine, the first ugly September 11th in American history. We were routed outside of Philadelphia and headed off to sent us to that horrific winter at Valley Forge, which also then led us to cross the Delaware and our victory in Trenton and onwards to victory, because as von Steuben taught us during that cold winter, we didn't need to win. We just needed for Britain to lose its stomach for the war. And I bring this up because that's what's going on right now on TV in front of you, is that we're trying to end a war that has been going on through proxies for 50 years, Maureen. And the narrative is lose your stomach for it. Ever since the 18th century, we have watched wars fought in the media based on how much public support they might have. And that's what Tim Kaine and Adam Schiff and all these folks who are out on the talk show circuit over the weekend are trying to pitch. Don't support this. It's not our fight. It's not our war. These are all the rhetorical arguments you hear. I appreciate, and please keep asking me, keep using that phrase. I thought you were better than that.
Hey, I'm Brant, and her name is Sherry.
Hello.
She's a friend of mine whom we were just praying for because of a surgery she just went through.
Yes, and I am very happy about something you actually talk about all the time, which is
Medishare.
That is right.
Yeah. So what was your experience like with Medishare and the healthcare bills?
Honestly, Brant, seamless. And what a blessing that is when you're already nervous about a health issue, which I was.
Yeah.
Members shared my expenses. There were zero problems. And let me tell you, having people pray with you when you call in with your need, that is just...
It is refreshing.
Yes, that's what it is.
What I keep telling people love Medishare and they love saving money. A typical family can save $500 a month.
I am very thankful for Medishare. It is so different, and I mean different in a very, very good way.
It is good different. Call now. They're easy to talk to, and you can get a price within 2 minutes. Call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Bailey, President of the American Veterinary Medical Association. Artificial intelligence is everywhere. And now it's helping veterinarians deliver better care for pets. From AI-assisted radiographs that speed up diagnoses to tools that help spot diseases, AI supports veterinary teams in exciting ways. We're using AI to develop personalized cancer treatments, predict chronic conditions like feline kidney disease, and even streamline record keeping so veterinarians can focus more on patients. But as with any new technology, always keep a human in the loop to maintain the best pet health care. AI is a powerful tool, but not a replacement for your veterinarian's expertise, compassion, and judgment, which remains at the center of our profession. For more information on AI and veterinary medicine, visit avma.org.
And good Monday morning to you. It is April 6th. It is 30 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:30 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Forest Hill. Currently 53 degrees right now. Looking for a high today of 74 degrees. All right, there's the sports ball music. Let's get right into it. Starting in the NBA on the hardwood, Kings versus the Clippers yesterday. Here's what it sounded like from home court there at the Golden One Arena.
See, over dribbling, and that's the thing.
Neat, 7 on the clock. Going all the way to the
drives it all the way to the basket for 2 more points. Kings behind by about 20 there, and Kings never could get the lead there in this game. Unfortunately, we cannot light the beam at home. Clippers win that one 138-109. Kings have today off. They'll be back in action tomorrow against the Golden State Warriors at the Golden State Warriors Stadium, so they don't have to go too far there. And that'll be at 7 p.m. You can catch all the action here on KAHI. Other scores around the NBA yesterday. Speaking of the Warriors, Ooh, they just missed it. Lost by 1 to the Rockets. Houston Rockets won that one 117-116. Lakers and the Mavericks. Mavericks win that one 134-128. Suns outshine the Bulls 120-110. They are going over to the MLB. Giants playing the Mets. Ooh, they lost a couple to them there. The 4-game series there. They wrapped up the last game of the series there. Mets win that one 5-2. Giants roll right on to a 3-game series with Philadelphia. That's going to start today, and that's going to be at 6:45 p.m. tonight. You can catch all the action here on KAHI. Giants starting a 3-game series against the Phillies at 6:45 tonight here on KAHI. Other scores around the MLB yesterday. A's get a W. Boy, that's a high-scoring game. A's versus the Astros. A's win that one 12-10. Rockies over the Phillies 4-1. White Sox over the Blue Jays 3-0. Padres over the Red Sox 8-6 there. Dodgers win over the National 8-6 as well. And let's jump back to basketball. The UCLA Bruins ladies get their first NCAA Women's Basketball Championship. This is from the Morning Brew. The Bruins defeated the South Carolina Gamecocks 79-51 in the title game yesterday. It's the UCLA Women's Basketball team's first national title since it won the AIAW Championship in 1978. The NCAA took over the postseason tournament in 1982. So congrats to the Lady Bruins there for winning the NCAA Women's Championship there. That is pretty cool. All right, we will be back with your KAHI weather right after this.
Auburn's department store, McCullough's, has something for everyone. From the latest styles for men, women, and adorable kids' clothes and toys. They bring the best brands to the foothills. You can skip the big box store stress and the parking hassles. There's plenty of free parking at McCullough's. With quality service and that classic neighborhood feel. Save time, gas, and money by shopping at McCullough's in the Auburn Town Center, right off of Elm.
Monday weather forecast is calling for mostly sunny skies at mid-70s today. Southwest wind about 10 miles per hour. 45 to 50 overnight. Light winds, mostly clear skies in the forecast. Dry weather on Tuesday, mostly sunny in the low 70s. Those temperatures will stay in the low 70s Wednesday. It'll be partly sunny, maybe a few rain showers in the afternoon. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
Thank you, Tim. 33 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:33 a.m. Coming up in our next segment, we'll have more events for the calendar. We'll also have your KAHI News, your California Ag Report. Coming up next hour, Twinkies. Oh, what's the whole thing with them? What's going on with them? We'll talk about that. We've got some weird news and some world news going on as well. Daily dad jokes per use. You can send those in live at KAHI.com or call 530-885-3565. Also, Placer County Supervisor Cindy Gustafson is going to be calling in the 8 o'clock hour. Also, if you have questions for her, 530-885-3565 or live at KAHI.com. All right, we're going to head off now to JT in the morning. I'll see you back here in just a little bit.
You need to know the first thing today.
So I think it's important, since we're trying to blunt the narratives that are going on about new wars, old wars, who's got the shiny war, to reset what's going, because the narrative by those who should know better is that the president hasn't made a good case as to why we're involved in this in Iran. Well, it's esteemed Tim Kaine.
I think we need to end this war as soon as possible. We don't need to deploy more Americans into harm's way in a war that lacked a rationale and that lacked a plan. And then we'll work with allies and others to figure out the situation in the Strait. Chris and I have a hard time seeing that size of an increase as being justified.
Talking about the budget request for a replenishment of the munitions that we're using. Carrie writes in to jtinthemorningradio@gmail.com. You didn't strike me as a neocon, Joe. I'm not. And just because I say that this is appropriate, this is the reason neocons were dangerous. Neocons wanted constant build-up battles of things, military build-ups for just the sake of having military build-ups, etc. And then, like we learned with the boy who cried wolf, at some point you actually have something kinetic going on, and then what are you going to do? You've now burned up your political capital, your intellectual capital, because you just decided this is cool, we can do it. And this is why I'm not. And this is why neocons are so dangerous, because they were keeping us on a war footing when we didn't need to be, so that when we finally decide we need to be, and in this case, we probably should have decided we needed to be a long time ago. And what's going on at the Strait of Hormuz is exactly why no other American president prior to this one had decided, the bullies that are funding all the deaths of all these American soldiers needs to be dealt with. So this isn't a new war, it's an old war. So let's reset a couple of things that are being, the Iranian government wasn't just sitting there picking daisies on the side of the mountain. The Iranian government has been funding attacks on the United States for a long time. What you're hearing from people like Tim Kaine and Chuck Schumer and their ilk is that we deserve it, that it's our fault. Why did we make you hit us? Why did we make you pay Hezbollah to kill all those Americans and shoot at civilian freighters and things like that? Why did we make you fundraise for Hamas so that they could kill, thousands of innocent Jews at a concert? That's the attitude, is it's our fault that they're doing this. Now, is there an intellectual pursuit there that's worth looking at to educate our future? Maybe. But we're not having that because everyone's out there trying to win their next political election. And so nobody's actually having an intellectual conversation, at least not in front of the voting public. because they need you to believe their rhetoric so that you'll vote for them or their people they've endorsed in the next election. Vote against, and most of it is vote against the orange man. And anything they can do to create that narrative. And again, they're only working with a margin of 1 or 2%. That's all they need. They only need 1 or 2% to abandon President Trump from the election in 2024, and they sweep the midterms in stunning fashion. And that's their goal, is to get their hands back on the power. And it's going to be even more lucrative for them because they'll be able to rebuild all these networks of funding and cash transfers, etc. So just to reset our position on this, this is a regime that has been paying for more deaths of more Americans than anyone else ever, not to bear any sort of recompense. Why Iran has committed more acts of war against the United States than the Nazi Germans ever did. There wasn't a single American killed by a Nazi soldier, and we invaded with Britain and France and started hunting down the Nazis. Send Aldo Rain and his boys in there. Metaphorically speaking, anyway. Iran has killed far more Americans than the Nazis had prior to our entrance into World War II. So let's not buy into this any more than just saying war is good. But the war is good crowd has put us in this position of saying, okay, when we finally have to do something, we don't have the stomach for it because we've been worn out by the Lindsey Grahams of the world saying, we need soldiers, we need armies, we need missiles, when we probably didn't. Good morning, you're on the air with Joe. First thing this morning, who's this?
Hey, Joe, it's Clark.
Morning, Clark. How are you doing in Alabama this morning?
I'm cold. I don't like it.
It's how quickly we get used to springtime temperatures, and then it changes. Yeah. What a bunch of
awakening this morning on the walk. But anyway, so let's see. Let's be more accurate in our speech and not say neocon. Let's just go with nauticons. And
new word. We have a new word for the lexicon. Was it the nauticon?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're not a con. They're a lib that just wants a different label.
That's right. They like elephants more than donkeys.
There you go. So, Tim Kaine went on Meet the Depressed and said, my panties that are in a knot and yours should be too.
Basically, he used more words.
Yeah. So, the whole protection thing and all that, and oh, before I forget, he said Donald Trump was an embarrassment. Let's talk about blue dresses there, Timmy. Maybe we ought to leave that alone, you know? So, the agitprop just goes on, and
but why do they do it? They do it because it works. When you're working in a margin of 1%, 2%, 1 or 2% abandoning President Trump from 2024 is a mind-boggling sweep for the Democrats in the midterms.
Well, Joe, efforts are being made to diminish their capabilities to manufacture votes, so they have to work harder to get real ones.
Yeah, go figure. Remember the old days.
Make them desperate. Yeah, there's a certain amount of desperation there. And, they constantly have to change because Zelensky told them that if they stayed on the same thing too long, people get tired of hearing it.
But they do circle back. They do circle back to the classic hits. Like with Hegseth, now it's a character thing again. Now he's a drunk and a party boy and a frat boy and never served as a commanding officer and blah, 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 all these things. Kaine brought it up. Schiff brought it up over the weekend because of they fired the chief of staff of the army. They didn't they're making it out this is the part that's laughable in this. They're making it out like he fired the member of the Joint Chiefs from the U.S. Army. That's not who was let go, and it wasn't even reported that he was let go. So reality, right?
Life can change so abruptly. Just ask Paul. He's a hardworking entrepreneur. He's young. He's got a young family. Suddenly, though, he develops a rare medical condition where he lost the use of both of his arms.
I could no longer drive a car, couldn't use a computer, couldn't type, couldn't use a mouse. I could not hold my son, who was about a month old.
Paul and his family were facing a mountain of medical bills, but they're so thankful that they're members of MediShare.
I think if someone asked me, like, hey, does MediShare really work? I'm living proof that it works. My 4 children are living proof that it works. My arms, which have been healed, are living proof that MediShare works. Just knowing the emotional peace of mind, knowing that our needs are going to be taken care of when we have some type of medical problem, that is such a huge blessing to us.
It could be a huge blessing to you, too. People save so much and love being part of MediShare. Call now, 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40, 855-SHARE.
And good Monday morning to you. It is April 6th. It is 15 minutes to the top of the hour, 6:45 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Roseville. Currently 52 degrees right now. Looking for a high today. Well, get to the short sleeve t-shirts out there of 82 degrees. All right, let's take another look at what's going on the calendar here. We're talking about the Golden Road Gathering. This is happening on May 17th and 15th. It's going to be at the El Dorado County Fairgrounds. What's going on? Well, it's a multi-day live music event in the breathtaking Sierra Nevada foothills there. It's a weekend filled with incredible performances, community vibes, and non-stop music featuring 30 bands across multiple stages, plus unforgettable late night shows to keep the energy alive until the early hours. So if you're one that loves music and loves it at pretty much any time of day, doesn't matter if it's day or night, this is the festival for you. Or maybe you just want to come for the daytime stuff, or maybe you're a night owl and you just want to come for the night stuff. You can do that as well. It's going to be the Golden Road Gathering May 15th through the 17th. It's going to be at the El Dorado County Fairgrounds up there near Placerville. You can find out more at goldenroadgathering.com. That's goldenroadgathering.com. But if you like some cool music, some indie type music, all different types of music types, I don't know. I guess there's something in there somewhere. Well, then you should check this out. There's going to be sets on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The El Dorado County Fairgrounds. Again, it's the Golden Road Gathering, May 15th through the 17th. Multi-day live music event. A weekend filled with incredible performances, community vibes, and non-stop music featuring 30 bands across multiple stages, plus unforgettable late night shows to keep the energy alive until the early hours. So if that's you, if that's your jam, well then get on to Golden Road Gathering for a set list there, goldenroadgathering.com, to see who's playing and to get tickets and a whole lot more. Again, the Golden Road Gathering at the El Dorado County Fairgrounds, May 15th through the 17th. All right, we'll be back with your KAHI News right after this.
A message from Food Addicts in Recovery Anonymous.
I came to Food Addicts in Recovery Anonymous overweight and depressed. I was dieting, binging, stealing food, and lying about it for years.
For help, call 781-932-6300 or visit foodaddicts.org.
I knew I had a weight problem. I didn't know I was addicted to food.
The FA program gave me a healthy body. I'm free from obsessing about my weight or food.
Call FA 781-932-6300 or visit us on our website at foodaddicts.org.
And here's your KAHI News for Monday, April 6th. I'm Chris Quant. Squirrel damages PG&E pole, sparks vegetation fire. This is from the Sacramento Bee. Damage to a Pacific Gas and Electric utility pole caused by a squirrel sparked a small vegetation fire on Sunday, according to the Auburn Police Department. At approximately 10:49 a.m. Sunday, Auburn Police Department officers responded to a small vegetation fire located between a canal near Landis Circle and the eastbound Interstate 80 on-ramp, according to a post from the department. The fire department also responded to the scene and extinguished the fire. Officials determined that the cause of the fire was a squirrel coming into contact with equipment on a PG&E utility pole. A glass insulator was damaged, which sparked a small fire in the nearby vegetation. There were no injuries reported and no structures were threatened, according to the police department's post. Highway 50 shut down for medic helicopter to land after El Dorado County crash. This is also from the Sacramento Bee. The California Highway Patrol was investigating a crash on Friday that briefly shut down Highway 50 in El Dorado County after a vehicle went off the road and crashed at the bottom of an embankment, leaving its driver and passenger with serious injuries. The westbound lanes on Highway 50 were shut down for about 10 minutes for a medic helicopter to land and transport a male driver and a female passenger, said Officer Hugh Council of the CHP's Placerville office. He said both occupants in the vehicle suffered serious injuries and were taken to a hospital. The single vehicle crash occurred on the highway's westbound lanes near the Red Hawk Casino in Placerville. Caltrans photos shows a white pickup that was involved in Friday's crash. Council said that the white vehicle went off Highway 50 and crashed down an embankment. After the helicopter took the two injured people to the hospital, he said one of the westbound lanes remained closed for about 2 hours as authorities pulled the crashed vehicle out of the embankment. Shortly after 2 p.m. Friday, Caltrans officials announced all westbound lanes were again open to vehicle traffic. Back with more news after this.
Are you ready to explore the unexplained, dive into the bizarre, and journey to the other side of midnight? I'm Frank Morano, your host for the most compelling late-night talk show in America. From conspiracy theories to cosmic mysteries, from politics to pop culture, we cover it all, and then some. Join me weeknights from 2 to 6 a.m. right here on the Voice of the Foothills, FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI. Don't just stay up late. Stay curious.
Catch Sinatra and Friends, Saturdays and Sundays, right here on 104.5 FM and AM 950 KAHI. Join Frank and his friends, Sammy, Dean, Tony Bennett, and more, performing songs from the Great American Songbook. Sinatra and Friends Weekends, brought to you by Naturewood Home Furnishings on Folsom Boulevard in Rancho Cordova. Right here on the Voice of the Foothills, 104.5 FM, AM 950, and streaming all over the world at KAHI.com.
Tune in to the KAHI Corral every Saturday at 7 a.m. here on the Voice of the Foothills.
Fun fact. Yeah. Every centimeter of toe growth past what it should be, it's 110 pounds on the navicular bone of extra weight.
God, it makes my legs ache right now.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. That's scary. Because the navicular, you're done.
Yeah, the navicular bone is very important.
Yeah, you're not riding or doing much else.
Listen in to Connie and the Gang, and you'll never know what you're gonna find. Everything from pets in the studio, oh yeah, that's a real thing, to the advice you've come to count on. So join Connie and a cast of thousands on the KAHI Corral Saturday mornings at 7 a.m. here on 104.5 FM, AM 950, and streaming all over the world at KAHI.com. Continuing now with your KAHI News from the Morning Brew, taking a look at the week ahead. We'll get some fresh inflation data. The Federal Reserve's favorite inflation gauge, the Personal Consumption Expenditures Index, or PCE, will get an update on Thursday. But keep an eye on Friday, too, when the Consumer Price Index report for March will be released, offering a new look at how prices fared once the Iran war started. And what will the Fed think of all of this? Well, we may get some insight on Wednesday when the minutes of last month's policy-setting meeting will be released. It's a major week for golf. The Masters, golf's first major tournament of the year, tees off on Thursday in Augusta, Georgia. The field is stacked, but Scottie Scheffler is the odds-on favorite to be wearing the green jacket when things wrap up on Sunday. Now, if you want to watch all 4 rounds in person, well, it's going to set you back more than $26,000 on the secondary market per golf.com. The 49th White House Easter egg roll is today. Delta and Constellation Brands report earnings and how the Iran war may have impacted them on Wednesday. And Orthodox Easter is this Sunday. And from the Morning Brew, here's what else is brewing. Savannah Guthrie delivered an Easter video message to Good Shepherd New York Church saying, quote, "I still believe," unquote, amid her mother's missing person case. Guthrie resumes her work on the Today Show this morning. Warren Buffett said he may end donations to the Gates Foundation over revelations that have come to light regarding Bill Gates and Jeffrey Epstein. PepsiCo dropped its sponsorship of a London music festival after it revealed Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, would be the headliner. The Writers Guild of America reached a tentative new agreement with the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers on Saturday, about a month before their current deal was set to expire. Kris Jenner has become a lucky charm of sorts for young people in China looking to manifest wealth in a bad economy. And the Artemis II astronauts completed an Easter egg hunt in space. They could only hide them in the cabin, and they were the dehydrated scramble egg variety, according to astronaut Christina Koch. But still. And finally, also from the Morning Brew, today's word of the day is scoff, meaning to treat with derision. Scoff. And that's your KAHI News for this Monday, April 6th. I'm Chris Quant. On now to the California Ag Report.
It's time for California Ag Today on the Ag Information Network. I am Haley Ship. As cotton planting season gets underway across California's Central Valley, growers are facing another year of tight margins and difficult decisions. Jody Campeacci, Vice President of Economics and Policy Analysis with the National Cotton Council, says new survey data shows producers nationwide are planning to scale back cotton acreage in 2026.
Based on the survey that we did throughout the month of January, U.S. growers said that they're going to plant 9 million acres of cotton, and that's down about 3.2% from last year. This will be the fourth year in a row where costs are projected to exceed market revenue. And while the enhanced farm safety net will provide higher support, more assistance will be needed to cover all of the losses.
That trend is also showing up right here in California, where overall cotton acreage is expected to decline, though some growers are shifting into higher value Pima cotton varieties. With tighter margins and ongoing uncertainty, 2026 again shaping up to be another challenging year for cotton producers in the state. Campeacci adds that there is some cautious optimism with a slight increase in global cotton consumption expected.
California farmers know there's no margin for error when it comes to irrigation. Rising electric costs, an uncertain grid, and aging diesel engines put your yield at risk. Propane-powered irrigation engines deliver high performance with fewer emissions than diesel and reliability the electric grid can't match. Upgrade to propane and earn up to $10,000 by submitting performance data through the Propane Farm Research Program. Learn more at propane.com/farm funding.
Ranchers, don't miss the 11th Annual Montana Maternal and 5th Annual Semternal Production Sale, Friday, April 10th in Baker, Montana. A powerful set of Angus and Simmental genetics featuring Sons of Asen Jameson, SAV Abundance, and more, built for maternal strength and longevity. All bulls are fertility tested and backed by a first breeding season guarantee with free delivery across Montana and adjoining states. Sale time is 1 o'clock. View catalog and videos at open8genetics.com or bid online at bid.superiorlivestock.com.
This is California Ag Today on the Ag Information Network. I am Haley Ship. For more ag news, check us out online at aginfo.net.
Are you stressed to the max? What can be happening to you? Could it be the news? Well, let's check it out on Pom Talk this week. Hi, Mary Jane Pomp here, the Environmental Protection Agency. Is it slowly going away? And what does it mean for our risks? And where are the planets? And how will it affect our lives? Is it the good, the bad, and the ugly? Well, that's Pop Talk, Saturday, 5 to 7 a.m., Sunday, 9 to 11 p.m., and 24/7 at KAHI.com. Click on Listen, and we'll go in search of the truth.
Spring is in the air, and for a lot of us, so are the allergies. If you're tired of reaching for harsh medications, Sunrise Natural Foods has a better way to breathe easier. Naturally, at Sunrise Natural Foods, you'll find a wide selection of natural allergy support, from herbal blends and plant-based tablets to gentle homeopathic remedies designed to relieve sneezing, congestion, itchy eyes, and more, without the unwanted side effects. Visit Sunrise Natural Foods today in Auburn and Roseville, or online at sunrisenaturalfoods.net.
This is Stephen Hill. Catch Hearts of Space, Sunday nights at 8, here on the all-new FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI. The same voice of the foothills, more powerful than ever.
Hi, this is Dr. Dahlia, and I'm thrilled to announce that I've joined the KAHI radio team. Each weekday morning from 9 to noon, I'm live on KAHI. We tackle issues like cholesterol, diabetes, women's health, children, geriatrics, relationships, and more. And with all that's going on in Washington, we even touch on government and policies impacting your health. The Dr. Dahlia Show is also a live call-in medical talk show that answers your questions on the air. Join me, Dr. Dahlia, Monday through Friday from 9 to noon here on FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI, the voice of the foothills.
20 seconds to the top of the hour. It is 6:59 a.m. Gang, that is 1 hour down. Coming up on hour 2, pausing for station ID. Back with more right after this.
FM 104.5 K283CM Auburn and AM 950 KAHI Auburn.
Wake up, it's Chris in the morning light. On KAHI, your day starts right. Foothill news and a smile or two, with a dad joke fresh and the weather too. He's the voice of the hills, keeping it real. Local talk with hometown feel.
Everybody,
so grab your coffee.
I got some hot water today, actually.
It's Chris in the morning with
singer
your
guy.
daily news.
Here we go, big finish, and good Monday morning to you. It is April 6th, and it is right smack dab at the top of the hour. It is 7 a.m. here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI. You know what it is. It is the voice of the foothills. Chris Quant with you here, holding it down. A beautiful, gorgeous, fantastic, and very, very spacious Studio A, KAHI Studios, downtown Auburn. Peering through the Venetian blinds at what looks like it's going to be a lovely spring day out there. It looks like the wind is blowing the trees around a little bit, so we'll check in with meteorologist Tim Root here in just a little bit to find out what our weather's looking like for today. But it should be nice out there. Maybe take your allergy medicine if you're affected by allergies, but with the wind blowing here. But other than that, should be a good day today. But again, we'll check in with Tim Root here in just a little bit. How we doing though? How's everybody doing? We doing all right? We have a good weekend there. Had Friday off from the other job there, so I got to spend some time with the family. My son and I went out and watched the Mario movie, the new Mario movie there at the theaters, and it's great to get out. I don't know that he and I have gone out, just the two of us, to see a movie in quite a while, so really fun going out there and just having the father and son talk. What's that, producer? No, we didn't have that talk. We did have that talk a little while ago, and there's apparently more of that talk that we need to have just to make sure that. Well, listen. There's so many. He could probably tell me a few things that he's with all the information that's out there. I'm not going to pretend that my kids don't know, especially as teenagers, what's going on here. How did we get down this road? I don't know. We were talking about Formula One. Is just hanging out and finding out how he's doing with his new little puppy that he's got, that he's training up now, and he was up this morning. It's like this kid's going to be ready when this kid has a child of his own. He's going to have so much experience with training so many dogs right now, and this is his third puppy now in the last 2.5 years, and he kennels them up in his room. So he was up taking her out to go to the bathroom this morning right as I was getting ready to leave. So I've not seen him at hour of the morning in a long time. But he says, yeah, she's sleeping better through the night now, but there's still times where I have to get her to take her up to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, you are all set for parenthood, my man. You are ready to go, because if you can make it through this is a lot of what it's like, is being up with them and getting up with them. And one night they might sleep great, and the next night they're up like 5 times. And that's just kind of how it goes. So he's getting all the training in, but he loves it. He loves training these little dogs there, and he's doing a great job at it. So super proud of him for being consistent with it and for sticking with it. And now that he's got, we're going to get ready to our guide dog that we've got, Deluxe. We've had him for over a year now. We've got his orders to go ahead, and he's going to go back to school now, or he's going to go to school. So he's a year and some months now. So we've had him since he was about 3 months old, and have taken him all, and just a beautiful dog. It's so amazing when we take him out, how many people stop by and like, oh my gosh, that's a great dog, or oh my gosh, he's a black lab. And so many people, oh, I had a black lab, or I have a black lab. These are just the best dogs. So it really is. Like, if you're ever wanting, and that's one of the reasons I think my son got into one of these things, is he loves dogs. He's a dog whisperer, but also he's more on the introvert side, which is fine. But having a dog there, having a pet, if you're ever introverted, just bring a pet with you. If you're ever afraid of making conversation with people, the dog takes care of it all. People just come up, and there's just you just talk about the dog. Oh, isn't that a great dog? Oh my gosh, I love dogs. Do you have a dog? Oh, dogs are great. And then you just have the conversation, and then that's it. You're done. You don't have to make any other small talk. You talk about the dogs. Everybody loves the dogs, and then they love to pet the dog, and then they're off to the races. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, if he's a guide dog, aren't they not supposed to touch the dog? Well, that is true. If he is wearing his jacket, that's a great observation. Great point there, producer Adam. But we had him we called a free walk yesterday, so he didn't have the jacket, so he could kind of walk back and forth, and all the people that are come up to him, they can pet him freely and all of that good stuff. So it is a really great conversation piece. So my wife and I had both the guide dog Deluxe out there, a beautiful black lab, and I might be a little bit biased, but we have a lot of people that say, boy, that's a good looking dog. And we had the little puppy as well. Now the puppy was in a because I guess, and I'm learning all of this as well, because they're younger, you can't take them out until they've had all of their shots or whatever. You have to kind of carry them around for a little bit, so they're not contracting whatever the thing is that puppies contract that I can't think if they're kind of walking around in public spaces before they have all of their shots. So basically we had the guide dog, and I had him, and then my wife had the puppy, which is not a small puppy at this point. It's fairly good size, but she had the puppy in the baby sling, the sling that she used to wear to carry the boys around when they were little. She had the puppy in the sling. So between the guide dog and the puppy yesterday, we got stopped a few times on our walk yesterday evening, but it was great. I'm here for it. It's fun. It's always fun to talk to new people, in my opinion, and especially when they're just gushing over your dog, and you don't have to make any small talk because they're just talking about the dog. Yeah, it was a good time. So I hope you had a good time over the weekend, this Easter weekend. If you had time to spend with some friends and family, I hope it went well. I hope you had a great chance. Maybe the kids got out there and the kiddos did a little Easter egg hunt. Turns out, if you were listening to the news here at the end of last hour, the astronauts up there in the Artemis 2 spacecraft there did a little Easter egg hunt as well. Apparently it was just scrambled eggs that they were looking for, but still keeping up with some traditions up there. And we'll check in, speaking of the Artemis crew, we'll check in with them, see what their schedule is going to be looking like. Today's kind of the big day when it comes to the moon. As I was driving in this morning, the moon was just full on in my windshield there. It's just a little bit past a full moon there, but it was really cool to be driving in and thinking, yeah, there's a spacecraft that is headed straight there, and they're going to be circling around it. So we'll see what their schedule is looking like today and some of the challenges they faced over the weekend. We were away from them for a couple of days, so we'll see what was going on there as well. Also, Victor Glover, I believe it's Victor Glover. He's one of the Artemis crew members there. Turns out he's the pilot there, and he had some really cool. I love watching all of the documentaries, you know this, on Apollo and Mercury and Gemini when they were getting ready to do that, and hearing their observations of the world. And I've listened to interviews from folks that have been up there in the space station and kind of seeing the forest from the tree there and being able to look back at planet Earth there and see kind of the very special little blue marble that we get to live on. And Victor Glover shared this clip or shared this observation over the weekend. I thought it was really good, and I thought it was pretty inspirational. And by gosh, especially coming in here this Monday and finding that we had lost power over the weekend. And so things are kind of working. Computers had to get fired up and get back and going again, and things aren't working exactly how they should, and that's okay. It's a Monday. Things happen on a Monday, and we're getting back into the routine of things on Monday. But I thought, you know what, I feel like maybe we could use a little bit of inspiration here today, especially as somebody who's flying through space there. So Victor Glover, pilot of the Artemis II there, here's what he had to say. I thought it was pretty cool. Take a listen.
For me, one of the really important personal perspectives that I have up here is I can really see Earth as one thing. You have this amazing place, this spaceship. You guys are talking to us because we're in a spaceship really far from Earth, but you're on a spaceship called Earth that was created to give us a place to live in the universe, in the cosmos. Maybe the distance we are from you makes you think what we're doing is special, but we're the same distance from you, and I'm trying to tell you, just trust me, you are special. In all of this emptiness, this is a whole bunch of nothing, this thing we call the universe. You have this oasis, this beautiful place that we get to exist together. I think as we go into Easter Sunday, thinking about, all the cultures all around the world, whether you celebrate it or not, whether you believe in God or not, this is an opportunity for us to remember where we are, who we are, and that we are the same thing, and that we got to get through this together.
Pretty inspirational words there from Victor Glover, pilot of the Artemis II spacecraft that is heading towards the moon. Yeah, and just a great reminder, like, hey, listen, gang, we're all in this together. We all shared this planet together, so we got to figure out a way to make it happen, to all get along, to get together, because, again, this is it. This is our oasis in the deep darkness of space there. So very cool to get away from Earth and to have those observations and to remind us of who we are and where we are. So we'll talk a little bit more about the Artemis and how they're doing. Also, all the Artemis astronauts there, how much screen time are they getting? Turns out in space, when it comes to tech, now they've got a bit more tech than the guys back in the Apollo days used to have. Those guys had those big old manuals, if you remember. Especially a lot of us are references Apollo 13 they were watching, and these guys had a manual, and one of the things that they had to do was to take the cover from one of their manuals that had all of their checklists and everything on it. And I'm sure they have redundancy systems, so I'm sure there's a manual up there just in case their electronics for some reason blink out on them. But a lot more dependent on tech now than back in the day. But yeah, you remember Apollo 13, they had to modify one of their cabin filters using basically had to construct something. So that was basically IT back in the day for the Apollo astronauts. Well, it turns out IT had to troubleshoot some stuff just like another day in the office. I've got to call. This is so relatable that even up in space, you got to call the IT folks, because there's a couple of computers here with the power being out over the weekend that are just like, nope, not going to play, fella. Or at least I don't know how to get them to play ball again. So I've got to call our IT folks to basically get things back up and running here for things. But it turns out if you're an astronaut and you're using the computer systems, you got to call IT as well. So we'll talk about that. They're kind of interesting that we all kind of in this modern day of tech share very similar problems, whether it's here on planet Earth or out there in space. We're all kind of relying on the same kind of tech. So we'll talk about that here in a bit as well as their schedule, see what they're up to. But before we get to that, we love to do this nearish the top of the hour. If today is your birthday, Victor Glover was talking about, it's a special. We're special being here on this planet that we do occupy, and it's extra special for you today if today is your birthday. Hope you have a fantastic day today. If you have a birthday today, you share it with one Raphael. No, not the Ninja Turtle, the Italian painter and architect, born on this day in 1483. Let's see, coming up a little more closer to present day, Merle Haggard, American singer-songwriter, 1937. Barry Levinson, American director, producer, and screenwriter, 1942. John Ratzenberger. No, it's a horrible John Ratzenberger impression. Yeah, you know that, Normie, that guy from Cheers. 1947, American actor and voice actor. I think it's any Pixar movie that's made is contractually obligated to have John Ratzenberger voice one of the characters in it. I don't know. That might not be a fact. I might just be making that up. Here we go. Michael Rooker, American actor, 1955. Michelle Bachmann, American lawyer and politician, 1956. Paul Rudd, American actor, 1969. That guy does not age. I don't know how some of these you look at like Brad Pitt and Paul Rudd. These guys look like they're reverse aging. Like, I don't even know how that's possible. 1969, Paul Rudd there. Zach Braff, American actor, another guy who looks pretty much the same. He's in Scrubs there. 1975. It's kind of crazy watching this. The Scrubs, a show that came out when I was in my 20s. Actors are close to the same age. They're a little bit older than me, but close enough in life to the same age. And now watching the reboot of Scrubs, I was just watching an episode last night with my wife, and I'm like, isn't this the best sitcom ever? It's poignant and it's humorous and it's reflective and it reflects life and is so well written. And the cast is back, but now they're middle age. And all the problems that go with middle age. Oh my goodness gracious, I forgot to keep an eye on that. All the problems that go on with middle age there. It's like, oh yeah, back in the 20s, I was watching it in my 20s and all the 20s angst, and now they're bringing it back again, and now it's all the middle age things and the creaks and the groans that go on with the body. And one of those episodes was like that yesterday, and my wife was like, yeah, it's just like, I don't like the pacing of it, but she's like, I love it for you. And I was like, all right, I guess we don't have to agree on everything just because we're married. She watches shows that I have no idea why she watches them. So there we go. Let's see. Heidi Mount, American model, born on this day in 1987. So happy birthday to her and happy birthday to you. Again, if today is your birthday, hope you have a fantastic day on this day in history here. In 1896, the first modern Olympics happened in Athens, Greece. It featured 241 male athletes from 14 nations. And that is a far cry today from the massive global spectacle that we see just as recently as a couple months ago with the Winter Olympics. But hey, I'm here for it. Love watching the Olympics. In 1909, on this day, American explorers Robert Peary and Matthew Henson claimed to be the first humans to reach the North Pole. Now, there's some historical debate over the exact navigation. Did they actually reach the actual North Pole? They're not sure, but it still remains a massive milestone in exploration. In 1930, the world's first Twinkie, James Dewar, a bakery manager in Illinois, invented the Twinkie. And we'll have some fun facts around that. Now, Twinkies hold a special place in my heart. Growing up, my best friend in elementary school, his mom would always. I never got anything like this. And maybe because there was 5 of him, there are 5 siblings, him and 4 other siblings, and maybe it was just an easy thing. But he always had an extra Twinkie in his lunch, and so every day. School day, we would, after lunch, there was recess after lunch, and he would save a Twinkie, and we'd go hang out, and we'd just sit there and we'd talk, and we'd eat the Twinkies, and it was always a treat because my mom never ever packed anything like that for me in my lunch. So I was like, hey, you got a Twinkie? And then we go and a lifelong friendship was formed over Twinkies there. So we'll have some fun facts. Turns out they didn't start out the way that they are today. So we'll have some fun facts around that and here in just a little bit. And also 1947, let's just wrap up what happened on this day in history. The first Tony Awards, the very first Antoinette Perry Awards for Excellence in Theater, the Tonys, were held at the Waldorf Astoria in New York City. So there we go. Lots going on today. And with no exception is the weather. That's happening every day. And of course, for that, we need meteorologist Tim Root to navigate us through it. Timmy, how are we looking out there today?
Monday weather forecast is calling for mostly sunny skies at mid-70s today. Southwest wind about 10 miles per hour. 45 to 50 overnight. Light winds, mostly clear skies in the forecast. Dry weather on Tuesday, mostly sunny in the low 70s. Those temperatures will stay in the low 70s Wednesday. It'll be partly sunny, maybe a few rain showers in the afternoon. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
Thank you, Tim. 17 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:17 a.m. Coming up in our next segment. Yeah, well, the weird Twinkies. What's going on with those things? It turns out they were made a little bit different back in the day. We'll talk about that. Also, some weird news that's been happening. Yeah, some strange things going on. We'll track that. Of course, we've got our daily dad jokes happening a little bit later on this hour. You can send those in now live at KAHI.com or call 530-885-3565. Speaking of the contact information there as well, we're going to have Placer County Supervisor Cindy Gustafson here in the 8 o'clock hour. If you've got any questions for Cindy, let me know. I'll pass those along to her. We're going to have her ask if she wouldn't mind giving us an update on what's going on around the county here. We don't have meddlers as often as we have in the past, so would love to get an update for her since we haven't heard from any of them for a few weeks now. So we'll do that. Lots more coming up. Stay tuned. Back with more. We'll see. I don't know if with the computer shutting down over the weekend based on or due to the power outage. I'm not sure if the Fox Business Report is updating. We'll check. We'll check and see, though. We'll see if anything has changed since last hour. Don't worry. If not, we'll make it through. We'll keep you up to date on all the news. I've got the Morning Brew here in front of me with updates as well. Stay tuned. Back with more right after this.
Hi, this is Dr. Dahlia. Join me for my live call-in medical talk show that answers your questions right here on KAHI. On my show, we tackle issues like cholesterol, diabetes, women's health, children, geriatrics, relationships, and more. And with all that's going on in Washington, we even touch on government and policies.
Dr. Dahlia, weekdays from 9 to noon here on the Voice of the Foothills.
Join me each weekday morning right here on FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI, the voice of the foothills.
This program is supported in part by the Hearts of Space Archive Service. If you just can't get enough Hearts of Space Sunday evenings at 8 here on KAHI, visit the Hearts of Space Archive Service anytime on the web at HOS.com. Hearts of Space, slow music for fast times.
Because KAHI cares. Here's another KAHI Community Bulletin Board.
You don't have to go to Africa to have a wildlife adventure. The Wildlife Care Association offers adventure, challenge, and satisfaction when you volunteer to care for injured birds and small animals. The nonprofit group is offering classes now for volunteers to assist Mother Nature in returning wildlife to our communities. Visit wildlifecareassociation.com or call 916-965-WILD and get your adventure going.
Front seat. Just this one time. Please, please, please.
No, not yet.
But why?
Because I love you, and you're just not ready yet. Now, get in the back so I can get you in your car seat, please.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love. Check that your kids are in the right seat at NHTSA.gov/the right seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
And good Monday morning to you. It is April 6th. It is 21 minutes past the top of the hour. And hey, good morning to you, Lincoln. Currently 50 degrees right now. Looking for a high today of 81 degrees. All right, let's just finish off. I thought it was pretty interesting. Twinkies, very fond memories for me. Lifelong friendship formed over Twinkies. And I thought, all right, well, it's, what is it, National Twinkie Day or something? Or the world's first Twinkie was formed. That's a funny word. The more that you say it, the more it sounds strange. Back in 1930. So it got me thinking, like, this little treat that I've enjoyed, this little Hostess treat or whoever makes it for so many years, like, what was the origin of this? How did this thing even start? Well, if you didn't know, you're about to know. So here you go. Buckle up, everybody. The original, I don't know if I would have liked Twinkies as much had I eaten the original flavor. The original flavor was banana. When James Dewar invented the Twinkie in 1930, they filled it with banana cream. I don't know, maybe it would have been good. During World War II, bananas were strictly rationed, so the company switched to vanilla cream. The change was so popular, they never switched it back. So apparently vanilla was better. And again, I think I'd have to agree. Although I don't know. Your tastes change when you grow up. I think if I had a Twinkie now, I would probably actually not like it. I can even kind of taste the chemically taste. Not that it was chemical, but you kind of like the artificial taste. It's still burned in my brain of what that tastes like. I don't know that I would enjoy it as much. Now, they've been touted to be indestructible. Like you could eat this thing, 50 years from now, and it would still be good, which probably tells you something about the ingredients inside of a Twinkie. If something can last that long, is it really worth ingesting? Well, despite the urban legend that they stay fresh for decades or would survive a nuclear blast, the official shelf life of a Twinkie was traditionally set at about 25 to 45 days. Now, I know that they have to set at that just because there's probably liability, and if a Twinkie does go bad, but let's be honest. Again, going back to kind of the preservative taste now that I'm aware of, as a kid, I didn't care. But now I think, those things could last a heck of a lot longer. The name came from a shoe billboard. Dewar reportedly got the name Twinkie after seeing a billboard for twinkle toe shoes while on his way to the bakery or on his way to a bakery meeting. He shortened it, and the snack icon was born. Listen, you never know where inspiration will strike. I don't know how he made the connection between twinkle toe shoes and Twinkie. Anyway, he did. The snack became a permanent part of legal history in 1979 during the trial of Dan White. His lawyer argued his mental state had deteriorated, citing his change from a healthy diet to one of sugary snacks like Twinkies as evidence of clinical depression. Now, contrary to popular belief, they didn't claim sugar caused the crime, but rather his eating habits were a symptom of his state of mind. And basically a shortage, and I do remember this. This was not too long ago. A shortage caused a bidding war. When the Hostess brand filed for bankruptcy in 2012 and briefly stopped production, fans panicked. Boxes of Twinkies were being listed on eBay for hundreds and in some cases thousands of dollars before the brand was bought and returned to shelves in 2013. I feel like that was a lot more recent than 2012 and 2013, but maybe not. So there we go. If you didn't know, there's some fun facts on Twinkies and their effect on us and on the market there. So just kind of fun, some fun news, just a little bit to get us started here on our Monday morning. All right, now let's see. I'm not sure with the power outage over the weekend if the Fox Business Report is updating. Let's go ahead and press the button now and see if it is going to play, and it does not look like it is updating. So we're just going to say for today, at least, we're not going to get the Fox Business Report. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back with some weird news in the headlines right after this.
Hungarian Radio, the famous radio production company, is now creating wonderful radio commercials in the United States of America. You've heard their radio spots for newspapers, ice cream, beer, telephones, and beer. Your company can have excellent radio commercials, too. Call this radio station or call Hungarian Radio and ask for Tegzi Chuck. Chuck Tegzi, the Minister of Production. They will build little cassettes for you and put tape in them with words on it about your company. Pretty simple. What do you say to that?
Hey there, KAHI listeners. Producer Adam here with a quick reminder to listen to Chris in the Morning, which you are right now. So I'm not sure what I'm adding here. Local news, weather, traffic, events, dad jokes. You're already getting all of it. This promo was probably unnecessary. And yet, here we both are. FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI, the voice of the foothills. There's 30 seconds of my life I'll never get back.
Once upon a time, there was a planet called home. It was full of all kinds of curious creatures and enchanting ecosystems. Life thrived everywhere, from the deepest oceans to the tallest mountains. Home was full of happy people, too, like you and me. And for a while, the people lived in peaceful harmony with nature. But as time passed, the people changed. And gradually, home changed too. The people saw that nature needed their help, and they realized they needed nature too.
Is that the end of the story?
Not at all. It's just the beginning.
Nature needs us now. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/now to learn more.
28 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:28 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Shingle Springs. Currently 55 degrees right now, looking for a high today of 77 degrees. Oh my goodness, that's loud. All right, let's talk about a little bit of weird news. But before we get that, because we didn't get to the Fox Business Report, let's talk a little bit about this in the news. 44 years of pretending the roof is fine. What are we talking about here? Well, homes are grayer than ever. Again, this is from the Morning Brew, and not just because millennials painted them that color. According to the Harvard Joint Center for Housing Studies, the median U.S. home is a record 44 years old. Faded wallpaper and all there. That's a lot of old pipes, wires, roofs, and water heaters that need fixing. And all of those repairs can be expensive, especially as maintenance costs rise. From 2022 to 2024, structural repair costs increased by about 14% in real terms, the Wall Street Journal reported, citing the Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia. And those homes aren't just getting any younger, especially with people reluctant to give up their lower interest rates on their current mortgages. So, yeah, in that boat, especially as somebody who bought an older home, and mine's much older than 44 years, looking at repairs, and you're kind of looking every day like, well, that needs to be repaired, and I think we need to have that repaired. And so my wife and I are definitely trying to calculate out now which one and in what order do we tackle these repairs. I don't know if it's the same for you. It seems like that's just the joy of being a homeowner, is going on to having to take care of all the things, but still making our house a lovely, lovely little home here. Also, speaking of business, ladies basketball is a huge business, or not basketball, but actually women's sports. This is pretty interesting. For investors, women's sports are one of the hottest tickets in town. Since 2022, investments in women's sports team have grown by about 227% annually on average, according to consulting firm McKinsey. And that, like a new pair of school shoes your parents used to buy, there's plenty of room for growth there. This is from the Morning Brew as well. This is because we don't have the Fox Business Report, producer Adam, so we got to make sure that we're covering the businessy type things here. Fans in the arena, financial backers are interested because fans are interested, breaking more records than ever before. Last year, the WNBA broke its single-season attendance record with a month left to spare. Last month, a record 63,000 fans showed up to a National Women's Soccer League game in Denver. And on Saturday night, a professional women's hockey league game sold out at Madison Square Garden, and the money has followed. McKinsey projects that U.S. women's sports market will generate about $2.5 billion in annual revenue for rights holders by 2030. That amounts to a 16% annual growth, which is roughly triple that of men's sports per routers. Now, according to McKinsey, the current NWSL media rights deal is worth 40 times what the previous one was, and a new WNBA deal will bring in more than triple what its prior agreement did. With numbers like that, it's no surprise that the WNBA players made revenue sharing one of their biggest priorities, as they probably should there, in recent collective bargaining talks. I know I would want to do that. Taking a look at the big picture here, despite its recent growth, McKinsey estimates revenue from women's sports makes up less than 2% of the total U.S. sports market, but it definitely sounds like it is on the rise there. Those are some fantastic attendance records there, and some attendance numbers as it's growing and growing there. That is pretty cool. All right, it is now 32 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:32 a.m., and we'll get to our dad jokes here in just a little bit. But We cover news here. Producer Adam helped me do a little bit of research on the way in this morning because, we cover the regular news, but you know that there's some weird news out there. There's looking over the weekend and the last couple of weeks here. I had him get some news here for me, especially now that we're heading into baseball season and the different teams that we all have. If you're a baseball fan, have been a fan for a while. Why the heck do we wear rally caps? Why do certain baseball players never wash their socks, or some of their batting helmets are just so gross because they never clean them because they think it's bad luck? Well, that is true here in Milwaukee. The Milwaukee Brewers Rally Tortoise. Have you heard about this one? Major League Baseball has a weird one brewing here. Milwaukee Brewers manager Pat Murphy went viral during a televised interview for having quote pocket pancakes, literally keeping pancakes in his pockets for a mid-game snack. In the fallout, I don't know that that's a fallout. How can pancakes be a fallout? They're great. A reporter mistakenly called a reptile at the stadium a pocket turtle. Fans quickly corrected her. It's a 100-pound tortoise. The players have now adopted it as a rally tortoise. But the team is currently stuck trying to figure out the logistics of how to fly a giant tortoise to away games. I don't know that they're going to be doing that. Be glad you're not living around Jerome, Missouri right now. This just sounds awful. Now, my wife growing up off of I-80 there, kind of near Meta Vista, if you know where that is. Oftentimes, the truckers coming over the hill there, their brakes would get too hot and they'd cause fires, and sometimes they would be basically the truck would catch fire and they'd have to come and put the fire out, or the trailer was off to the side there, and basically there was some stuff that got left, the food basically, where it's just like, all right, well, listen, we don't want this food to go bad, so you could go out and you could collect some of this food because it wasn't going to be taken anyway. I don't know that they do that much anymore, but apparently back in the day you could do that. Well, if you were around Missouri, Jerome, Missouri here recently, that's not what you wanted. A tractor trailer veered off Interstate 44, dumping 20 tons of tofu down a ravine. Now, usually a spill is cleared in hours, but an insurance snafu between the trucking company and the towers left the cargo sitting there for nearly 2 weeks. And as you could probably imagine, all of that 40,000 pounds of tofu fermenting in the spring sun created what locals were calling an unbearable stench that took over the entire town. Could you imagine that? At some point, you're just like, I don't know, do we all just plug our noses and go out there and just clean it up by ourselves? Hopefully it gets cleaned up pretty soon there for them if it hasn't already. And how about this? Washington's Spanglish AI glitch. AI is supposedly making our life easier, or at least taking over some low lift or lower, lower fruit. What is it? Low-hanging fruit, that's what I was looking for. Jobs here. Callers to the Washington State driver's license hotline lately have been met with a very confusing option number 2. When users select the Spanish language menu, instead of hearing Spanish speaker, they are greeted by an AI voice speaking English, but with a thick, simulated Spanish accent. Okay, I know that's not funny, but can you imagine that you do that and you're like, wait, what? Is this some sort of practical joke? Like, what's happening right now? And the state is currently scrambling to fix the accented AI that forgot to actually translate the words there. So, yeah, AI is supposed to be making our lives maybe a little bit easier, maybe a little bit more humorous. And also, that's with AI. You always double check. All right, 36 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:36 a.m. I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your daily dad jokes. Joe, I see that dad joke sitting there in the inbox. Still time if you want to send one in live at KAHI.com or call 530-885-3565. Back with your daily dad jokes and your KAHI weather right after this.
Did you ever wonder where we get a word like muckety-muck? How about the whole kit and caboodle? I'm Martha Barnett, along with Grant Barrett.
Each week on Away with Words, we try to solve linguistic mysteries.
And we invite you to call us with your questions about language. We want to hear from you about words and phrases, regional dialects, grammar, or maybe that weird family expression you grew up with.
So join us on Away with Words, Saturdays and Sundays at 7 p.m. here on the Voice of the Foothills, AM 950 KAHI.
It was the worst airplane trip I'd ever been on in my life. I looked at my boarding pass. They had me in row 187K. 187K. I didn't even realize they made airplanes that big. I mean, economy ended in row 90, so you can imagine the section I was sitting in. Well, I finally got to my seat. What a nightmare. On one side of me, a screaming baby. No adults, just a screaming baby. On the other side, a fish. A fish, yeah, a real fish. I mean, usually I like to talk to the guy sitting next to me, but this character had no personality at all. Although he did kind of chuckle when the stewardess mentioned that the seat could be used as a flotation device. Anyway, just to show you how rude this guy was, he starts smoking a pipe and fills the whole cabin up with smoke. But I got the last laugh when the stewardess came around. He ordered red wine. Fish with red wine. Imagine that. You just did. You saw it on the radio. If you're an advertiser, this station and the Radio Advertising Bureau have news for you. Just call the station and say, I saw it on the radio.
22 minutes to the top of the hour, 7:38 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Lake of the Pines. Currently 54 degrees right now, looking for a high today of 77 degrees. All right, it's that time. It is time for your Daily Dad Jokes. That's right, make you laugh, sigh, I don't know, roll your eyes. We'll see what we got here. We've got one from Joe here. He sent this one into live@KAHI.com. If you're ever locked out of your house, just talk to your lock calmly and with respect, because communication is key. Solid. I think we've had that one before, Joe, but that is a solid dad joke. Let's do that one more time. I absolutely love it. If you're ever locked out of your house, just talk to your lock calmly and with respect, because why? Communication is key. Oh! Producer Adam liked that one. Apparently it took a couple times, but he liked that one. All right, now about this one. We'll see if Producer Adam likes this one. I don't know, Joe. I don't think I can top that, but we'll certainly try here. Hey, Dad, what do you think of this blue shirt? Looks like it could use some cheering up. Yeah, okay, that was like a laundry joke, I think. Cheer? All right. So I think Tide would have been better. Hey, Dad, what do you think of this blue shirt? Looks like it could use some cheering up. Nope, still didn't get Producer Adam on the second time around. All right, let's abandon that one, and we'll just do a few spring jokes here while we're in spring, and then we'll call it a day here with the Daily Dad Jokes. Why are trees so forgiving? Well, every spring they turn over a new leaf. Okay, that was good. All right. Where did the egg go for spring break? New York City. Yeah, I'll agree that was a bad one. Let's try this one. We'll end with this. Why can't the duck go to the comedy show? Because he'll quack up. There we go. And those are your Daily Dad Jokes for this Monday, April 6th. We'll be back with your KAHI weather right after this.
Hey there, KAHI listeners. Producer Adam here to remind you that Chris in the Morning really is the best way to start your day. And he's not paying me to say this at all. Wink. And yes, he really is holding it down in beautiful Studio A in the KAHI Worldwide Headquarters Studios, Monday through Fridays, 6 to 9 a.m. Chris in the Morning here on FM 104.5, AM 950, and streaming all over the world at KAHI.com. Now, where is that $3 gift card he said he'd leave me for saying nice things about him? Man, that guy's a cheapskate.
Monday weather forecast is calling for mostly sunny skies, mid-70s today. Southwest wind about 10 miles per hour. 45 to 50 overnight, light winds, mostly clear skies in the forecast. Dry weather on Tuesday, mostly sunny in the low 70s. Those temperatures will stay in the low 70s Wednesday. It'll be partly sunny, maybe a few rain showers in the afternoon. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
Thank you, Tim. 19 minutes to the top of the hour. When we come back, we're talking about the Artemis 2, the crew there. What's their schedule looking like for today? They got a lot on the calendar for today. It's going to be a big day circling around the moon. We'll talk about that. Also, what they did over the weekend. Also, tech in space. They're getting a lot of screen time there. Probably more screen time than any astronauts have in a long time. How have we adapted tech that we use every day into space? We'll talk about that. We'll have your KAHI news coming up as well. Next hour, Placer County Supervisor Cindy Gustafson is going to call in and give us an update on what's going on in the county. We haven't heard her in the Meddlers meeting with the new schedule now for a little bit, so we'll get an update here on KAHI. Stay tuned. If you have any questions for Cindy, you can call them in 530-885-3565 or email live, L-I-V-E, at KAHI.com. Back with more right after this.
Only 1 in 5 people with disabilities, including those with autism, are employed, despite many having the skill set and desire to work.
Maybe it's because employers don't know what kind of jobs they can do?
Okay, try me.
What about a programmer?
That is a job for someone with autism.
What about a teacher?
That is a job for someone with autism.
Oh, how about a healthcare worker?
Yes, those are all jobs for someone with autism. The truth is, qualified people with autism can do a lot of different jobs, but often get overlooked due to outdated stigmas and beliefs. Businesses value diversity, but sometimes don't recognize the unique strengths and abilities of the autism community. Introducing WIN, the Workplace Inclusion Now program by Autism Speaks. We help businesses lead the way in inclusive hiring.
Ooh, what about a ranch hand?
Yeah! Sure, that's a job for someone with autism too. To learn more, go to autismspeaks.org/win. That's autismspeaks.org/win.
And good Monday morning to you, April 6th, and it is going to be a big day for the Artemis II folks up there in space. Today is going to be the Lunar Flyby Day. Yeah, we knew this, end of last week, we knew that Monday was going to be the big day for them. And they have entered the moon's sphere of influence at 12:41 this morning. So that's when the moon's gravity started to take over and is the primary force pulling the Orion capsule. So here's what's going to be happening for them today. Again, a big day today. They're going to be breaking a record around 10:56 Pacific time this morning. They're going to be, in just a few hours, they're going to officially surpass the record for the farthest humans ever have traveled from Earth. The previous record was held by Apollo 13 at 248,655 miles. I think they're expected to go about 40,000 more miles farther than that. They'll have the basketball view at about 4:20 Pacific time this afternoon. It's the closest approach. Orion will pass within 4,070 miles of the lunar surface. To the astronauts, the moon will look about the size of a basketball held at arm's length. I thought they would be getting closer than that. I feel like they should be, but maybe not. Maybe it's a little bit further away from that. Now, this, if you've watched any of the movies or any of the documentaries, you know that this happens when you go around the far side of the moon around 3:44 this afternoon Pacific time. They're going to lose contact with the crew for about 40 minutes as they head behind the far side of the moon. It's going to be that radio silence waiting for them to pick up on the other side. And they'll reach about their max distance at about 4:07 o'clock our time this afternoon. They'll hit their peak distance from Earth at 252,760 miles, and that'll shatter the Apollo 13 record by about 4,000 miles. Now, what happened over the weekend? So that's a big schedule for today. They got a lot going on today. They're going to be taking pictures of that for sure. If we don't get time to it before we have the news here, we'll talk a little bit about some of the tech that they're using and why they were like, it's kind of going away from what NASA's standards and protocols have been in the past. But here's what happened over the weekend, in case you weren't keeping up on it or you're curious. The toilet, this dang toilet, keeps coming up here, and probably in not a good way. The space toilet strike, basically on Saturday, the crew reported that the waste management system, or the toilet, was acting up again. They've been working through some plumbing issues while hurtling towards the moon at 1,000 miles per hour. Yeah, I think they were talking about a smell that was like a burning smell that was coming up. Not something that you want around the toilet, because I think there's only one, and everybody's got to use it. So hopefully no more problems on the way back here. On Saturday morning, Mission Control woke the crew up with Pink Pony Club by Chapel Rowan, which I'm sure that had been a fun wake up there. Pilot Victor Glover, who we heard a quote from earlier this hour. If you didn't hear it, I'm going to play it again next hour because I thought it was pretty darn inspirational, something that he said over the weekend. He took manual control of the Orion spacecraft for the first time in deep space on Saturday night. It was a critical test to see how the ship handles manual maneuvers before they rely on it for future moon landings. And NASA released the first high-definition images the crew took looking back at Earth, and Commander Reed Wiseman noted that seeing the northern lights from 250,000 miles away, quote, paused all four of us in our tracks, unquote. So there we go. There's what's been going on with Artemis 2 as they're hurtling now towards the moon. The moon's gravity took over and is pulling them towards it now. That happened at about midnight while we were sleeping there. And lots going on today as they're going to be passing by the moon and setting a new record today. Pretty exciting for the farthest humans have ever been from Earth there. All right, 13 minutes past the top of the hour at 7:47 a.m. I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your KAHI News right after this.
Heart disease and stroke can affect women at any age.
In fact, almost half of women over the age of 20 are living with some form of cardiovascular disease.
I never thought it could happen to me.
Women experience unique life stages such as pregnancy or menopause
that can increase their risk of developing cardiovascular disease over the course of their lifetime.
But here's the good news. Women have the best resource.
We have each other.
Visit GoRedForWomen.org today to learn more.
And here's your KAHI News for Monday, April 6th. I'm Chris Quant. Squirrel damages PG&E pole, sparks vegetation fire. This is from the Sacramento Bee. Damage to a PG&E electric utility... Try that again. Damage to a Pacific Gas and Electric utility pole caused by a squirrel sparked a small vegetation fire Sunday, according to the Auburn Police Department. At approximately 10:49 a.m. Sunday, Auburn Police Department officers responded to a small vegetation fire located between a canal near Landis Circle and the eastbound Interstate 80 on-ramp, according to a post from the department. The fire department also responded to the scene and extinguished the fire. Officials determined that the cause of the fire was a squirrel coming into contact with equipment on a PG&E utility pole. A glass insulator was damaged, which sparked a small fire in nearby vegetation. There were no injuries reported and no structures were threatened, according to the police department's post. Highway 50 shut down for medic helicopter to land after El Dorado County crash. This is from the Sacramento Bee. The California Highway Patrol was investigating a crash on Friday that briefly shut down Highway 50 in El Dorado County after a vehicle went off the road and crashed at the bottom of an embankment, leaving its driver and passenger with serious injuries. The westbound lanes of Highway 50 were shut down for about 10 minutes for a medic helicopter to land and transport a male driver and a female passenger, said Officer Hugh Council of the CHP's Placerville office. He said both occupants in the vehicle suffered serious injuries and were taken to a hospital. The single vehicle crash occurred on the highway's westbound lanes near the Red Hawk Casino in Placerville. Caltrans photos show a white pickup was involved in Friday's crash. Council said that the white vehicle went off Highway 50 and crashed down an embankment. After the helicopter took the two injured people to the hospital, he said one of the westbound lanes remained closed for about 2 hours as authorities pulled the crashed vehicle out of the embankment. Shortly after 2 p.m. Friday, Caltrans officials announced all westbound lanes were again open to vehicle traffic. Back with more news after this.
Only 1 in 5 people with disabilities, including those with autism, are employed, despite many having the skill set and desire to work.
Maybe it's because employers don't know what kind of jobs they can do?
Okay, try me.
What about a programmer?
That is a job for someone with autism.
What about a teacher?
That is a job for someone with autism.
Oh, how about a healthcare worker?
Yes, those are all jobs for someone with autism. The truth is, qualified people with autism can do a lot of different jobs, but often get overlooked due to outdated stigmas and beliefs. Businesses value diversity, but sometimes don't recognize the unique strengths and abilities of the autism community. Introducing WIN, the Workplace Inclusion Now program by Autism Speaks. We help businesses lead the way in inclusive hiring.
Ooh, what about a ranch hand?
Yeah! Sure, that's a job for someone with autism too. To learn more, go to autismspeaks.org/win. That's autismspeaks.org/win.
Tune in to the KAHI Corral every Saturday at 7 a.m. here on the Voice of the Foothills.
I did a petting zoo on the top floor of a skyscraper.
No.
Wait.
They had the windows open because it's an old building. They don't have any air conditioning.
I'm still creeped out because I think animals fell out the windows, but they didn't.
Well, Reno did. He was
Wait,
standing
what?
on the windowsill with his head out the window.
Did he come when you
Walked
called
over
him?
very slowly, grabbed him, and pulled him back in and closed the windows.
Listen in to Connie and the Gang, and you'll never know what you're gonna find. Everything from pets in the studio, oh yeah, that's a real thing, to the advice you've come to count on. So join Connie and a cast of thousands on the KAHI Corral Saturday mornings at 7 a.m. here on 104.5 FM, AM 950, and streaming all over the world at KAHI.com. Continuing now with your KAHI News from the Morning Brew, taking a look at the week ahead, we'll get some fresh inflation data. The Federal Reserve's favorite inflation gauge, the Personal Consumption Expenditures Index, or PCE, will get an update on Thursday. But keep an eye on Friday, too, when the Consumer Price Index report for March will be released, offering a look at how prices fared once the Iran war started. What will the Fed think of all of this? Well, we may get some insight on Wednesday when the minutes of last month's policy-setting meeting will be released. It's a major week for golf. The Masters, golf's first major tournament of the year, tees off on Thursday in Augusta, Georgia. The field is stacked, but Scottie Scheffler is the odds-on favorite to be wearing the green jacket when things wrap up on Sunday. Now, if you want to watch all 4 rounds in person, well, it'll set you back more than $26,000 on the secondary market per golf.com. The 49th White House Easter egg roll is today. Delta and Constellation Brands report earnings and how the Iran war may have impacted them on Wednesday. And Orthodox Easter is this Sunday. And from the Morning Brew, here's what else is brewing. Savannah Guthrie delivered an Easter video message to Good Shepherd New York Church saying, quote, "I still believe," unquote. Amid her mother's missing persons case, Guthrie resumes her work on The Today Show this morning. Warren Buffett said he may end donations to the Gates Foundation over revelations that have come to light regarding Bill Gates and Jeffrey Epstein. PepsiCo dropped its sponsorship of a London music festival after it revealed Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, would be the headliner. The Writers Guild of America reached a tentative new agreement with the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers on Saturday, about a month before their current deal was set to expire. Kris Jenner has become a lucky charm of sorts for young people in China looking to manifest wealth in a bad economy. And the Artemis II astronauts completed an Easter egg hunt in space. Now, they could only hide them in the cabin, and they were of the, quote, dehydrated scrambled egg variety, unquote, according to astronaut Christina Koch, but still. And finally, also from the Morning Brew, today's word of the day is scoff, meaning to treat with derision. Scoff. And that's your KAHI News for this Monday, April 6th. I'm Chris Quant. Back with more after this.
This is Jana from Jana Johnston Photography. I advertise on KAHI Radio because it helps me reach people throughout the foothills who are looking for the best pictures to capture their memories that will last a lifetime. Whether it's a wedding, engagement, graduation, or celebrating a newborn, KAHI Radio connects me with my target audience like only radio can. Thanks, KAHI.
To advertise your business on KAHI Radio, contact the KAHI sales staff at 530-885-5636 today. Catch Sinatra and Friends, Saturdays and Sundays, right here on 104.5 FM and AM 950 KAHI. Join Frank and his friends, Sammy, Dean, Tony Bennett, and more, performing songs from the Great American Songbook. Sinatra and Friends Weekends, brought to you by Naturewood Home Furnishings on Folsom Boulevard in Rancho Cordova. Right here on the Voice of the Foothills, 104.5 FM, AM 950, and streaming all over the world at KAHI.com.
Spring is in the air, and for a lot of us, so are the allergies. If you're tired of reaching for harsh medications, Sunrise Natural Foods has a better way to breathe easier. naturally. At Sunrise Natural Foods, you'll find a wide selection of natural allergy support, from herbal blends and plant-based tablets to gentle homeopathic remedies designed to relieve sneezing, congestion, itchy eyes, and more without the unwanted side effects. Visit Sunrise Natural Foods today in Auburn and Roseville or online at sunrisenaturalfoods.net.
3 minutes to the top of the hour, 7:57 a.m. All right, let's just do a little bit of trivia here as we're wrapping up this hour. It's true or false here, since let's make it moon related. This is from the Morning Brew, since the astronauts are going to be passing by the moon today. Here we go. True or false on these questions. 1, there is wind on the moon. True or false? 2, the U.S. is the only nation that has landed humans on the moon. True or false? 3, the moon has its own moon. True or false? 4, lunatic comes from the Latin word for the moon, luna. And 5, in 1962, Moon River won the Academy Award for the Best Original Song in Breakfast at Tiffany's. True or false? Quick break. Think it over. We'll answer those right before the top of the hour, right after this.
The Environmental Protection Agency, is it being dismantled, and why? Well, we'll look at the impact it might have on us on Pop Talk this week. Hi, Mary Jane Pop here. Can the position of the planet give us the good, the bad, and the ugly of life? And stress, is it getting to be a major problem watching the news? Well, some surprising facts. Well, Pop Talk explores Saturday 5 to 7 a.m. and Sunday 9 to 11 p.m. and 24/7 at KAHI.com. Click on Listen and let's talk.
About a minute and a half to the top of the hour here. All right, here, let's answer our true or false questions here. Did you get most of them? I think most of them are pretty obvious here. True or false, there is wind on the moon. Short answer, false, but it does experience space weather. 2, the U.S. is the only nation that has landed humans on the moon. That is true. Number 3 here, the moon has its own moon. Now, I have to admit, I had to think about this. I'm like, what? How would that even be possible? No, that is false. Number 3 is false. The moon does not have its own moon. Number 4, lunatic comes from the Latin word for the moon, luna. That is true. And finally, number 5, in 1962, Moon River won the Academy Award for the Best Original Song in Breakfast at Tiffany's. If you guessed true, then that is true. That actually did happen there. 1962 Moon River Academy Award there for Best Original Song. All right, it's just some moon trivia as the astronauts are getting ready to head towards the moon. Here we go, 20 seconds to the top of the hour, 7:59 a.m. Coming up this next hour, we'll have Placer County Supervisor Cindy Gustafson called in to give us an update. Pausing for station ID. Back after this.
FM 104.5, K2A3CM, Auburn, and AM 950, KAHI, Auburn.
Wake up, it's Chris in the morning light on KAHI. Your day starts right. Foothill news and a smile or two with a dad joke, fresh and the weather too. He's the voice of the hills, keeping it real. Local talk with hometown feel, so grab your coffee, don't hit snooze. It's Chris in the morning with your daily news.
Hi, the consumer with a thought for car dealers. I've been driving to work in the same car for 4 years. I need new tires. My front end is shimmying. That tiny rattle in the glove box is pounding in my brain like Chinese water torture. And the transmission is making that funny noise again. The one that goes, $1,200 to fix me, $1,200 to fix me. Why wait until the weekend to sell me a new car? On the weekend, I'm thinking about my crabgrass. On the weekend, I wash my car, and when it's clean, I like it again. So I don't pick up the auto section on the weekend, and I don't see your ad. But come Monday morning, all those little noises and rattles come back like the bad dream you had as a kid about monsters in the closet. The only thing that drowns them out is the radio, so I listen to it instead.
The best time to sell someone a new car is while they're driving their old one. Advertise on this station. Call us for more information.
And good Monday morning to you. It is April 6th, and it is almost, well, kind of right smack dab at the top of the hour. Is 8:01 here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI. You know what it is. It is the voice of the foothills. Chris Quant with you here, holding it down. A beautiful, gorgeous, fantastic, and very, very spacious Studio A, KAHI Studios, downtown Auburn, peering through the Venetian blinds. Well, it's a spring day out there. It's going to be nice. We'll check in with meteorologist Tim Root here in just a little bit to see how our weather is doing. But as we're getting started on this Monday morning, you know we love to do this at the top of the hour. If today is your birthday, well then happy stinking birthday to you. I hope you have a fantastic day today. If you were born today, you share a birthday with Raphael. No, not the Ninja Turtle. No, it's the Italian painter and the architect. Born on this day in 1483. Other birthdays include Merle Haggard. Yeah, that Merle Haggard, American singer-songwriter, 1937. Billy D. Williams, American actor, 1937. Barry Levinson, American director, producer, and screenwriter, 1942. John Ratzenberg, yeah, Cliff, from Cheers there, American actor and voice actor, 1947. Mary Lou Henner, a Greek-Polish-American actress, 1952. Michelle Bachmann, American lawyer, politician, 1956. Paul Rudd, that guy never ages. I don't know how he does it. 1969. Zach Braff, American actor. Boy, he's on one of my favorite shows there, Scrubs, born on this day in 1975. And Heidi Mount, American model, 1987. So happy birthday to them, and happy birthday to you if today is your birthday. Again, I hope you have a fantastic day today. On this, there's a couple things. It's Twinkie Day, or let's see, at least on this day in 1930, the world's first Twinkie came to be. James Dewar, a bakery manager in Illinois, invented the Twinkie. And fun fact, they were originally filled with banana cream. Yeah, I don't know if I could handle that. I like the vanilla cream better. At least I did when I was a kid. And on this day in 1947, the first Tony Awards happened. It was at the Waldorf Astoria in New York City. And going back just a little bit further than that, on this day in 1896, the first modern Olympics games opened in Athens, Greece. It featured 241 male athletes from 14 nations, a far cry from the massive global spectacle that we see today, for sure. So lots going on this day. Of course, last hour we were talking about today the astronauts on the Artemis 2, the Orion spacecraft. They're going to be heading around the moon. They're going to be on the far side of the moon. They'll have that radio silence as they're going around the moon for about 40 minutes. So pretty exciting stuff there. But before we get to all that, well, we need to find out what our weather is going to be here from meteorologist Tim Root, checking in with him every weekday. Here we go. Today is no exception. Timmy, how are we looking out there today?
Monday weather forecast is calling for mostly sunny skies at mid-70s today. Southwest wind about 10 miles per hour. 45 to 50 overnight. Light winds, mostly clear skies in the forecast. Dry weather on Tuesday, mostly sunny in the low 70s. Those temperatures will stay in the low 70s Wednesday. It'll be partly sunny, maybe a few rain showers in the afternoon. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
San Francisco Giants baseball is on the voice of the foothills, KAHI, AM and FM.
And this is hit high and deep and out of here.
Into the bleachers, a two-run homer, 4-0 Giants. The throw to first, it's high, pulling the first baseman off the bag, and there's nobody at the plate. Jung-Hoo Lee very alertly sprints home to score the run.
5 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:05 a.m. When we come back in our next segment here, Placer County Supervisor Cindy Gustafson is going to call in, give us an update. Also got a question from her, from one of our listeners. Thank you so much for calling in and sending that in. We'll ask her that as well. Make sure that we're teeing up those questions. If you get on the one, you can call 530-885-3565 or email live@kahi.com, live@kahi.com. Placer County Supervisor Cindy Gustafson calling up in our next segment here. We're going to head off to JT in the morning. I'll see you back here in just a little bit.
Leaves for work when the sun comes up, drops a kid to school along the way. Joe has everything he dreamed of, all the treasures that he needs. No wonder Joe's always smiling, he only aims to please you. Let me be your Joe.
Thank you for letting me be of service to you this morning on the radio program that first and foremost is not shy about calling ourselves a radio program because you know why? 93% of all Americans listen to a terrestrial radio station at some point during their day. Sorry, thanks for playing. This is why all the podcasters call me and say, can you talk about my podcast on your radio show? And then we'll go on and say how radio is a dead media. Because, I mean, it makes their bones there. But not only do we do that, we tell you what went on in the news. And then we give you the opportunity to jump on with us and tell us how it is affecting you where you are, or infecting you where you are, as sometimes is the case. Safe and effective, that's us. We can use that now, right? Okay. As we gather it together, and we'll give you our first things here this morning, and thank you for joining us as we do it. Obviously, the rescue of the American pilot is preeminent. However, I've got a couple of very interesting emails regarding the CIA's involvement in this, and it's become a fairly common part of the narrative that the Iranian government thought we already had rescued the guy long before we ever even started trying to rescue the guy. And Marcus writes in, why don't we just convince the Iranian army that we've got the city surrounded and they should give up? If it's that easy. Well, I mean, I guess there's certain levels of PSYOP you can do. But I particularly like Teresa, who writes in, is the CIA's operation to convince the Iranian government we had already rescued the pilot, the most successful one since Safe and Effective?
Thanks, Cindy. Appreciate
it. See, it's the toughest crowd, but the best writers in Hollywood right there is the CIA operation, the most successful one since Safe and Effective. Gotta love it. 434-882-4217. You can text message there, or you can email jtinthemorningradio@gmail.com. So our first things begin in the Middle East. Obviously, the rescue of the U.S. pilot. This is the first time in military memory that 2 U.S. pilots have been rescued separately deep within enemy territory, President Trump wrote in social media. Israel has claimed that the Iranian Revolutionary Guard intelligence chief has been killed. Israel Katz, defense minister for the Israeli government, said the Revolutionary Guard are shooting at civilians and we're eliminating the leaders of the terrorists. The president was asked in an interview with The Hill magazine if he would rule out using ground troops in Iran, especially as it comes to reopening the Strait of Hormuz. And the president said, no, he would not rule it out. Normal people would make a deal, he said. If they were smart, they would make a deal. Asian markets opened up a little bit. Nikkei in Japan rose 0.7%. South Korea's Kospi gained 1.4% on opening trading. Meanwhile, reports this morning that a university, Sharif University of Technology, was hit by a missile strike, according to an economics professor speaking at the Associated Press headquarters in Tehran. President Trump also told The Hill that reports of internal chaos are not true after Pam Bondi was let go as Attorney General and Kristi Noem moved on out of the Director of Homeland Security position. Trump said to The Hill that reports of staffing shakeups should not be overinterpreted and the country was still on the right track. The Super Mario Galaxy movie said to the world, Americans want to go see something that doesn't hit us so hard, or at least 2% of Americans who dropped down $130.9 million over the weekend in the opening of the Super Mario Galaxy movie. And they ain't no John Wooden yet, but for the first time since the early 80s, UCLA is the national basketball champion. Check me on that date. There, as the women's team captured their first national basketball championship, routing South Carolina 79-51 Sunday in the NCAA title game. It's Michigan against UConn for their title on the men's side tonight.
Every state is home to significant historic sites that tell the American story. But not every site is telling that story honestly and fairly. That's why the Heritage Foundation created the Heritage Guide to Historic Sites. This interactive guide equips American citizens with the tools they need to enjoy the sites that depict some of the greatest moments in our nation's history, analyzing them for historical accuracy, and provides resources for families or educators planning a visit. It currently covers over 45 sites in the 13 original colonies, but sites from all 50 states will be added in time for citizens to celebrate America 250 this summer. From Mount Vernon to Independence Hall to Gettysburg and more, Americans deserve transparency, and sites that steward our history faithfully deserve our gratitude. The Heritage Guide to Historic Sites invites every American to rediscover the places and stories that define our nation, whether it's across the country or in your backyard. Visit historicsites.heritage.org to start your adventure today.
Business owners, are you paying high phone bills for old school systems and lousy service? StrongTel cuts your phone bills in half and turns every phone you own into a feature-rich business system. Sean Roddy, CEO of Hennings Brothers Drilling, had this to say: "We've been a StrongTel customer for over 10 years. It's great. It even includes an intercom with video to our equipment yard. I can watch live from anywhere with my smartphone. I'd recommend StrongTel to anyone. Never miss a customer call again with your StrongTel business system. StrongTel is a proud iTex partner and always welcomes your iTex dollars. You'll get award-winning StrongTel service, a business-class phone system, and cut your phone bill in half. So visit strongtel.com right now. That's StrongTel, StrongTel.com. It's StrongTel.
And good Monday morning to you. It is April 6th, and it is 14 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:14 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Auburn. Currently 59 degrees right now, looking for a high today. Very nice spring day out there of 77 degrees. All right, we've been talking about it all morning. Placer County Supervisor Cindy Gustafson is here to join us to give us a bit of an update. Cindy, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. I hope everybody enjoyed their Easter weekend and celebrations.
Yes. How about you? How did that go for you? I kept it kind of low key. Do you have family that?
Yeah, I had all my grandchildren here, so it was really fun. Easter egg hunts on the grass.
Oh yeah. Now I've got my kids are a little bit older. One he's 15 now, but and his cousins are a similar age, but they still did an Easter egg. We still did an Easter egg hunt for them yesterday, and they still got a haul. So apparently not too old yet at 15 to go out there.
Exactly. Well, I've got a ways to go there with the grandkids. So.
Yeah, I think yours are still little. So yeah, it's boy, it goes by so fast. But hey, thanks so much, Cindy, for joining in. And I know that we're on kind of an every other week schedule. I guess it's going to be a couple weeks here before we get to Meddlers again. So we get to kind of tune in and hear your updates often there. But I know we haven't had a chance. So I was wondering if you wouldn't mind giving us a little bit of a Board of Supervisors update. And then we had one of our listeners call in that had a question I thought was very interesting that I would love to pass on to you. But if you wouldn't mind, maybe just giving us a bit of an update from the Board of Supervisors.
Great. Thanks, Chris. Well, our last meeting was on March 24th. And to start off that meeting, we had a remarkable presentation because this year we're celebrating the 175th anniversary of Placer County.
Oh, that's right.
So if your listeners get a chance to go online and watch that presentation, it was a great summary. And throughout the next coming months, we're going to be doing pieces in our newsletters and at the Board of Supervisors celebrating that 175th anniversary. So, it's pretty remarkable. Our country's 250 years old, but right here at home, Placer County being 175 years is pretty amazing. And we came into the state 1 year after it was formed.
Okay.
So,
oh, my gosh.
We were formed from parts of two other counties. And, obviously at that time, We had a booming gold rush and, issues all over. So really a fascinating history of our county. We also received our annual comprehensive financial report from our auditor, Andy Sisk. And once again, I think this is about 25 years, we have had an unmodified opinion from our external auditors. These are the people that take a look and make sure that we're doing everything to protect people's tax dollars and spending it according to protocols that are approved. So we do this annually, and all the financial statements were appropriate. The auditors found no notes or issues with internal controls on expenditures, and that we were in compliance with all laws and regulations. So great annual report, and Andy Sisk, our elected auditor, the public's elected auditor, does a great job for our team, he and his team, for our county. And then we also got an update, our second quarter fiscal update on our trends in revenues and expenditures. Our expenditures are a bit under what we projected. Some of that is due to some capital projects that weren't quite ready to go. But our revenues seem to be holding pretty strong. Property tax at 6%. An interesting number that I've been asking for from our team was, what percent of that is new growth and transfers versus just the turnover of our existing properties?
Yeah.
And of that 6%, about 35% is the new growth that we're experiencing. So that's important for us to remember, because the cost of providing services and materials and supplies are all escalating more than the 2% growth we get in standard revenue. General fund sales tax is only up about 2%, and the transient occupancy tax is remaining flat again this year. So when you look at that, we're relying heavily on property tax for the services that we deliver the constituents. And of the property tax that they pay, generally the county gets less than a third of that tax. The rest goes to school districts and other special districts, so and cities. And so it's just important to remember, we collect it, but then we distribute it to those other jurisdictions for their expenditure. And we agreed also at that meeting to establish a budget subcommittee, and that will be the chair and the vice chair of the board each year. And so I'm serving on it as vice chair this year and as chair next year on the budget subcommittee. And that way there's at least two board members diving into deeper details on the budget development process. We also got an update on our housing action plan, our housing element, and our long-range work plans for fiscal year 26-27. And those obviously brought a lot of discussion on housing in particular, and the fact that we're not keeping up with the goals that we set in our housing element. We've made good progress, and we have quite a few in the works. But by 2029, we need to meet those goals that we set for ourselves, or we need to make better progress. So we're at about 11% of the goal, and so we have 3 more years to up the game and get more housing units developed.
Now, is this similar to what we've been seeing? What was going on? I think is this around the low income housing, or is this just housing in general when it comes to just overall housing availability in Placer County?
You know, it's all housing, but obviously the area where we're most focused for county policy, developers and those investors, are driving the market for market share.
Okay.
And while the market is still very strong in Placer County for new housing, it really does fall on the county to look at how we help meet the affordable or workforce housing. I like to call it workforce housing because affordable is sometimes equated with homelessness, and we have a whole range of people who serve us and work for us, whether it's at our coffee shops or in our yards, landscaping companies, maintenance companies, where the salaries are too low to afford a home in Placer County.
Right.
So.
Right. Got it. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for that clarification.
And then the final thing that might be of interest is we had quite a discussion on our fire safe councils. The fire safe councils were established and in various areas as community members come forward. And I spoke up that I really want to see us reach out to the communities who don't have fire safe councils and really encourage them to develop those, because they really are the boots on the ground in neighborhoods, helping their neighbors and us all meet our defensible space goals and projects throughout our communities.
Yeah.
So it was a good discussion, and we gave direction to allow flexibility and whether those are board appointed by the Board of Supervisors or if they're set up separately as volunteer organizations. We will honor it either way. We just want to support good work being done in our communities.
Do you know how a community sets it? Like, if a community doesn't have a fire safe council, one, how does somebody find out if they don't have a fire safe council? And two, how do they set one up? I'm sure there's a procedure around that.
Yeah, and it varies based on whether they want to be a board appointed group or not. And all of your listeners, probably in Auburn, North Auburn, are covered by fire safe councils. They've got some very active ones. It really is further up the hill and further west where there might not be full fire safe council coverage. So they would contact our department of our Office of Emergency Services, and that group helps them set up, provides them all the information, and they can choose the path of bringing together their community, and we will support their efforts through our OES department.
Got it. Okay. Fantastic. Good to know. Do we have, I guess we could look that up. Do you have, I don't know if you have contact information for the Office of Emergency Services off the top of your head.
I don't off the top of my head.
Okay.
I've got all my screens open.
That's okay. That's all right.
To you, so,
I know you can't have all the information right
it's Office of Emergency Services, and if people are interested, they can contact my office directly.
Yeah.
And I can put them in touch, or they can contact OES.
Got it.
And my email again is Cindy Gustafson, all one word, at placer.ca.gov.
Fantastic.
And we'll put them in touch with Dave Atkinson and his group.
Love it.
And then tomorrow's meeting is fairly standard in a lot of the items on our agenda. Our routine increases to fees to keep up with inflation on a number of our fees and programs. But one I thought that the listeners might be interested in is we're finally, after many years, moving forward on Placer Parkway Phase 1. And this is a almost $62 million project. We have been saving funds through road mitigation fees, traffic mitigation fees to build this. We're in partnership also with the cities of Lincoln and Roseville to put this project on the ground, and we'll be moving forward with construction contract award and moving that project to start construction hopefully later this year.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Well, good.
Getting that going. I didn't see much else that really triggers a lot of discussion for the community, other than, again, the housing fees.
Okay.
Are we charging adequate housing fees to do affordable, do our share to help affordable housing? And that item is timed at 11:20 tomorrow.
Okay.
But I would say the other item I wanted to bring up was the really unfortunate shooting that occurred on March 28th at the No Kings rally and protest at Bell and 49.
Yes, thank you for addressing that.
Yeah, I attended a meeting Friday with the Auburn Indivisible Group, the Auburn Area Democrats, Sierra Foothills Unitarian Universalists, and the Placer County Democrats Central Committee. There was about 75 folks in attendance. Some of them were the victims of the, whether it was BB or pellets shooting. And the sheriff was there. One of the sheriff's representatives, Captain Josh Tyndall, was there to explain to the folks how we're investigating and looking at the various footage people have on cameras and in our license plate readers to identify the suspect vehicles. So it's a very serious investigation. We're taking it the sheriff's taking it very seriously and wanted to assure the folks that they are doing everything they can and looking for every bit of information from anybody who might have witnessed it to report it. You know, we stand by everybody's freedom of speech and the constitutional rights to protest peacefully. And we want to make sure Placer County remains safe. This is the first time we've had an incident of this magnitude, and we want to make sure that people know we're looking to prosecute it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that update. Yeah, that's something that was definitely in the news last week, and I'm trying to remember, it was last weekend before last. So definitely appreciate that hasn't gone by the wayside. But you're absolutely right. Rights granted by the Constitution to peacefully gather and to peacefully protest, no matter what side you're on. We should be able to do that without fear of any sort of repercussion along those routes. And yeah, nothing that shouldn't be acceptable on either side. So Cindy, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for bringing those updates. I appreciate you. You're so good at staying on top of stuff, and we appreciate you staying on top of stuff for us. Now, I did have a question that got called in here from one of our listeners, wanted to pass along. A very timely question, I think, as we know the midterm elections coming up this November, with the new executive order going out around having voter ID. And the question was just kind of around for you and for the Board of Supervisors and for Ryan Ronco here, who's in charge of our elections, our basically top elections official around here. It seems like a lot of weight of this new executive order has been put locally here and probably on the local board of directors. And so the question was around, Cindy, how does that affect you? How does that affect the board of directors? How can Ryan, as one person, it seems like it's a lot to have to adapt to and to make changes for. How is that impacting the county and you, the Board of Supervisors, and Ryan as well? Any updates there or any information that you can pass on to us?
Well, Chris, you gave me a compliment earlier that I stayed on top of everything. Well. And I was asked this question Friday at the meeting related to the protest and the shooting. I have not gotten an answer yet on what Ryan's team needs and how we'll be approaching this. So let me get back to you and to your listeners so that I provide accurate information and not just my opinion on, that this is going to be challenging. And I know, Ryan, we have the best clerk recorder, registrar of voters in the state of California. And Ryan is head of the association. He will know all the latest. And let me get back to him later this morning, and I'll be able to get to your listeners with that information. I am sorry I don't know that off the top of my head.
Well, that's okay, because one of the things that you're always good at, and we know this from Medlar's meeting, is, and I think anybody who's been asked a question and not sure, like, hey, you know what, I don't want to give you the wrong information, give me a little bit to go and find the right information, and we'll circle back to that one. So, Cindy, thanks so much for calling in and giving us a heads up of what's going on, and whether you call back next month when we touch base on this, or if we hear you maybe give an update at Medlar's here, we'll definitely keep an ear out for that. But also wanted to let folks know, you mentioned 175th anniversary of Placer County, and if folks want to know what's going on there, Cindy, I think it's placer.ca.gov/175. The number's 175, and they can learn all more about that if they want to research a little bit more. So thanks for giving us a heads up for that as well.
Absolutely. We have a lot to be proud of.
Yeah.
Lots to work on, too, but lots to be proud of.
That's true. Well,
this
that's
is a great county.
That's part of just being a part of society. Like we all got to figure out how to make this all happen together, and we sure appreciate that you and everything that the board is doing to make sure that we're all operating together safely and securely and keeping a lookout for the future of Placer County. So, Cindy, thanks so much for calling in. If we don't talk to you before then, we'll talk to you next month, and we'll keep an ear out for you at Medlars coming up not this week, but the week after.
Okay. Have a wonderful week, Chris.
Thanks, Cindy.
And to all the listeners, too.
All
Thanks.
right. We'll talk to you later.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Catch Sinatra and Friends, Saturdays and Sundays, right here on 104.5 FM and AM 950 KAHI. Join Frank and his friends, Sammy, Dean, Tony Bennett, and more, performing songs from the Great American Songbook. Sinatra and Friends Weekends, brought to you by Naturewood Home Furnishings on Folsom Boulevard in Rancho Cordova. Right here on the Voice of the Foothills, 104.5 FM, AM 950, and streaming all over the world at KAHI.com.
Monday weather forecast is calling for mostly sunny skies, mid-70s today. Southwest wind about 10 miles per hour. 45 to 50 overnight, light winds, mostly clear skies in the forecast. Dry weather on Tuesday, mostly sunny in the low 70s. Those temperatures will stay in the low 70s Wednesday. It'll be partly sunny, maybe a few rain showers in the afternoon. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
Hi, this is Jimmy J. Let's get together this Saturday night at 8 p.m. for the Rewind Show on KAHI, the first station in the world to ever broadcast this show. And thanks to you, boy, have we grown. If you haven't already, be sure to tune in to find out what the rest of the world is talking about. The stars you grew up with are always on Rewind. Saturday night, 8 p.m., right here on the Voice of the Foothills, AM 950 KAHI.
Hey there, KAHI listeners. Producer Adam here to inform you that Chris in the Morning is, in fact, still a show. Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. From beautiful Studio A here at the KAHI Worldwide Headquarters. News, weather, traffic, local events, and a dad joke, or 12. FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI, the voice of the foothills, and streaming at KAHI.com. Surely he's run out of dad jokes by now.
Now we'll see. 34 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:34 a.m. My thanks to Placer County Supervisor Cindy Gustafson for calling in there in that last segment, giving us an update. I heard the phone ring a couple of times. Sorry if I didn't get to your call. I realized I can't get to your call and have her on the phone at the same time there. So if you have any other questions for Cindy, feel free to email them to me live at KAHI.com, LIVE at KAHI.com. Or if you want to call tomorrow, 530-885-3565 while I'm here in between segments here, can definitely write down that question and tee that up for her next time, or get that over to her office and get some updates for you. Would definitely love to be a conduit to get some questions over to Cindy for you. I can get over to her office there. But thanks so much for the calls that came in or asking those questions. Love to keep that going here. And until we see each other early tomorrow morning, as always, remember to be kind, be honest, be yourself, and remember you can't hate somebody if you're hugging them. Again, if today is your birthday, happy stinking birthday to you. Hope you have a fantastic day today. We're going to head off now to JT in the Morning here on FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI, Voice of the Foothills.
You say that because it makes your point. If you don't like Donald Trump, you don't like the idea of a new war, which is what Tim Kaine called it yesterday on...
Yeah, she said she'd gotten it, and I asked her. She called in early, and I gave her a heads up that was coming. So she said that she was sending a message to Ryan, and that she was going to get a follow up. So whether she sends that to her, I'll ping her office about that, or if she brings it up on Medlars, we'll keep on that for you. I do have a teenager, yeah. No, not at all. Well, yeah. I think that's what they're looking for is evidence right now, right? Like that's what they're trying to investigate is what. The people who got shot, right? And like. Oh, I agree with that. Yeah, very, 100%. I don't think anybody said one side or the other. I said it doesn't matter who you are. If you heard what I said, it doesn't matter who you are, that if you gather and you have the right to go out there without fear of any sort of retribution, then I mean, if that had happened, if there were folks protesting, I don't know, Gavin Newsom out there, right, and they got shot. Okay. Well, that's definitely an opinion, but like when like the reports that I read, like there was like they showed the signs, there was like holes in the signs, there were people that got treated for, some people denied medical attention, some like I don't need it, some people said yeah, they got attended by medics there, so there was record of people being like yeah, they reported it at the time, so you know that's what I'm going to go off on. Their agenda is to get shot. To help me understand the agenda, what's their agenda? Like, I don't think anybody's going out there looking to like get shot. You're talking about the agenda is. Wait, we're talking about getting shot, but now we're talking about their agenda is to what? Go out there and protest. Okay. Well, yeah, and I think that's why they're investigating it. That's why she said like they're looking into what's going on here to find answers so that nobody jumps to conclusions. Okay. Well, and again, I think that's why they're investigating to see like who was behind. Because like, yeah, if it was a bunch of teenagers out there causing trouble, then all right, fine. There's some teenagers out there causing trouble. If it's somebody that disagrees with them, well, then there's no place for that. And even if it was teenagers causing trouble, like they need to be held to account because you can't do that, right? So you can't just go around. So like that's I think why they're looking for what is the cause of this, so we can put that to bed. Okay, well, you know, I didn't hear it. I heard that there was a problem and that they're trying to get it to the bottom of the problem. So again, it's open to interpretation. Well, who was there? Like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Bell 49 isn't an accessible point. Mm-hmm. Yep.
My nose. Great line. Well, it wasn't actually mine. It was an email. Another listener had questioned if this PSYOP in Tehran wasn't the greatest American operation of misinformation since the days of Safe and Effective. Because, you got to take the shot. You got to take the shot. You got to get the card that says you got the shot so that we can all find out what your medical history is, because you've got a card that shows you got the shot so that we can let you do other things in a free society. Yeah, no, thank you for picking up on that, but that was not me saying that. That was actually a listener pointing out that connection there. But it's all back to the same campaign. Here we go again. Chaos all over again. Grabastic monkeys who don't know what they're doing. You elected a guy who doesn't know how to be president because we haven't passed him through the bowels of our parties. We haven't chewed on him. We haven't digested him thoroughly.
I actually got to run to work. I'm going to be late for a meeting here, but thanks for calling in. Thanks for the question, and we'll see.
Because if we had, oh boy, if we had, you'd be in trouble now.
All right, talk to you later.
So be careful of the media you consume this morning, because it is the doom scroll. If you read a story about this, and trust me, I mean, in my world, I'm constantly going through all kinds of stories from all kinds of, and I get all kinds of, I think the algorithm doesn't know what to send me anymore. But I used to get doom scroll all the time. If you read an article, about or by a leftist, the algorithm immediately thinks you want more articles like that. So the search engines start sending you more narrative just like that, and it becomes just crazy making.
Life can change so abruptly. Just ask Paul. He's a hardworking entrepreneur. He's young. He's got a young family. Suddenly, though, he develops a rare medical condition where he lost the use of both of his arms.
I could no longer drive a car, couldn't use a computer, couldn't type, couldn't use a mouse. I could not hold my son, who was about a month old.
Paul and his family were facing a mountain of medical bills, but they're so thankful that they're members of MediShare.
I think if someone asked me, like, hey, does MediShare really work? I'm living proof that it works. My 4 children are living proof that it works. My arms, which have been healed, are living proof that MediShare works. Just knowing the emotional peace of mind, knowing that our needs are going to be taken care of when we have some type of medical problem, that is such a huge blessing to us.
It could be a huge blessing to you, too. People save so much and love being part of MediShare. Call now, 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40.